Hello there.
Hello, everybody. What is up? Welcome to Cantina Social Hour, the 2025 finale, final show of the entire year. How did we get here? Wow, this year's absolutely flown by. Thank you guys for being here so much. I apologize for the delay getting on, but it is great to be here now. Had to go to a work Christmas party, which was a blast, and getting home took a little bit longer than I hoped. But we're here now. It is great to be with you guys. Happy Friday. Happy holiday season. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. All that stuff. We're celebrating tonight. We're celebrating another year of VC. We're celebrating another year of Cantina Social Hour. I don't know exactly how long the show has been on, but it's been at least like 4 years, I think, 3 or 4 years. And through that time, some of you Cantinians have been here ever present, ever constant. And I say it every time, I 100% sincerely mean it. I would not be doing this show if it were not for you guys. Thank you so much for bothering to tune in and to support VC and to hang out and just keeping it positive. That's what we want to do. We want to keep it positive. Sometimes we critique things. Sometimes we have strong feelings about things, but we're always about keeping it positive, keeping the love, spreading positivity, spreading kindness. And I think no more important time than the holiday season to remind ourselves about that and to actually do it. So again, thank you guys so much for being here. I am so excited to talk about all these things you're seeing on the banner. I mean, check it. Look at all these things. Look. A lot to discuss. A lot to discuss. And yeah, how you guys doing? How you guys doing? So I want to remind you, this is our final show of the year, and we will be taking, as we do every year, a little bit of a holiday break, a winter hiatus, and we will be back in about a month to 5 weeks or so. We'll see how that works out. I haven't scheduled anything yet. I haven't lined up any guests. I kind of need a little bit of a break. No guests tonight. You guys are stuck with me once again. I did invite a couple of friends, and I didn't hear back, so I assume they were busy. But yeah. Anyway, all I need is the Cantinians. Thank you guys for being here. Let's do it. What are we talking about tonight? We're talking about 2025 in review. Kind of going to go through the year and just talk a little bit about the things that we like here in the Cantina: toys, collectibles, films, theme parks, all that stuff. We're going to talk about the best toys of 2025. I asked you guys on Instagram, what are your favorite picks of this year? So I'm going to read through those. I got a lot of responses. And I'm going to tell you what my top 10 collectibles of this year are, because it was hard to pick, but I narrowed it down to 10. And then I'm going to talk about the vintage collection. We're going to focus on that for just a little bit so we can talk about my top 5 TVC figures of the year. And then my bottom 3 TVC figures of the year, which if you watch this show on the regular, you probably know what those are, honestly. And then we're going to look ahead to 2026 and just kind of talk about what's on the horizon for Star Wars, what's on the horizon for collecting, what is that landscape, what's it going to look like? It's been an interesting year. It's been a lot of a little bit of good. It's been hard for a lot of people. And, we're here to talk things that lift our spirits, even though they may pale in comparison to a lot of the other things going on. So we're going to have a good time. We're going to talk collecting. We're going to talk the topics that we like to talk about. And then we're going to talk about next year. Sound good? All right. Well, let's go ahead and get things started here. I want to see who is with us. Thank you, Dodgson, for the update. That was at 6:45 rather. Thank you for posting that update. And thank you for making sure that the pumps are fully operational. I appreciate that. And thank you to Adam, our moderator. We appreciate you, Adam. Thank you for keeping those unscrupulous characters out of the Cantina. Let's see. We got Sci-Fi Dude with us. How's it going, Sci-Fi Dude? Good to see you again. We got Pico B1. Hey, Pico B1. Good to see you. We got Alex. Hello, Alex. Good to see you too. We got our friend Britt. How's it going, Britt? Got Nicholas Hallows with us. Hello, Nick. Let's see here. We got DM1 Imago 05. Wanting a blue milk? I'm sure Dodgson got you that blue milk. Welcome. Allison is with us. Good to see you, Allison. I think we missed you last week, or did we? Am I wrong? I could be wrong. Bob is with us. Better Bob. What's up, Bob? Whom else? Talking about Christmas songs, I see. And Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola right here. That's what I'm drinking tonight, you guys. I'm going really wild here with the Coca-Cola. Actually, let me tell you about this Coca-Cola. I got this 2 Disney trips ago. It came with one of the things I'm going to show you, one of my acquisitions that I mentioned last week, but just did not have on my person here to show you guys during the show. But it came with this Disneyland Coca-Cola. It says Disneyland 70 on it. And it's got a fun little like Disney castle thing right there. Hard to see, but anyway, Disneyland Coke. I'm finally drinking it a few weeks later. Let's see who else is here. Oh, and I'm off work, you guys. I'm off work. I'm on holiday break officially. Got 3 weeks off. Bomb diggity. Very excited. Who else is here? Mary's with us. Hey, Mary. Let's spread the positivity indeed. Trevor, how's it going? Good to see you. Been a while indeed. Where you been, good sir? Where you been? We've been wondering where you've been. Let's see here. We'll talk about that, Chad, in just a little bit. We will. How's it going? Troy, Merry Christmas to you. Thank you for being here. Coca-Cola. Supreme Leader Tomater is back. He's back. Oh, my goodness. He's going to take over Radiator Springs pretty soon here. That's what I understand. Yeah, I'm off work. Watered down with a little. Not this time. Not this time, Bob. Not this time. Anyway. Cool. Well, let's get things started. All right, let's get things started. 2025 has been it's been a year, you guys. We're gonna try our best to focus on the collecting side of it, the pop culture side of it, the parts that we need to get us through everything else. So let's go ahead and talk first about, just kind of talk about 2025 in review as far as toys and collectibles go. Like I said, this year, it has felt so long, but I also feel like at the same time, it's gone by so fast. I don't know if that's just me. It's kind of, I know it's contradictory, but I kind of feel like it's been a little bit of both. So this year started off a little bit slow for collecting, started off a little bit slow for, films and stuff. Skeleton Crew, Star Wars, that carried into the very first part of the year. And then it kind of just disappeared. And then no one talked about Skeleton Crew ever again. I know at the time we would have discussed it, but I thought it was fun. I thought it was cute. I thought it was going to be bigger than it actually was. It wasn't very big at all. Yeah, it seems like that's come and gone. And it's just been another Star Wars series that hasn't resonated as well as I'm sure they may have hoped. Fast forward a little bit. After that, January comes and goes, and that brings us into February. I think that's Captain America. Brave New World came out, and I really enjoyed that in the theater. And then still during this time, like it's a really slow, like, for collecting. There's not a whole lot. During that time, we got the first TVC wave of the year, and that was the wave that had Luke Skywalker, Anakin Skywalker, Clone Wars. It was a really solid wave. I think was Dedra Miro was in that wave. She was in that wave. And that was a really solid wave for the most part. It really was. Son and father and son in the same wave. Anakin and Luke was pretty remarkable. I think we also had the Clone Trooper Phase 1 501st, which was incorrectly labeled as Lieutenant, was in that wave. And there's somebody else in that wave too. Okay, then we get into April, right? Andor season 2. This is one of the biggest things for me this year was Andor season 2 because I really needed Andor season 2. I really needed the narrative and the story and that presentation because it was just so expertly crafted, expertly put together, and it really resonated on. It was very timely, and that has absolutely stuck with me this entire year. Like, I find myself every little while thinking about Andor. I find myself thinking about the story that it told and what it contributed to Star Wars as a whole. And it was just a great time for Star Wars live action. I mean, Andor, man, it's deserved all the accolades. That is for certain. After that, summertime rolled around, and then what did I do this summer? Not a whole lot. I know we did our usual summer hiatus for the show for a little while, about a month. Comic-Con came, and Comic-Con, we did our second annual meetup. Last year I started this meetup, this creator meetup, where a bunch of different YouTubers and content creators get together, and we put on kind of just like a meet and greet. It's for us to see each other, but also for our followers and our viewers. And some of you guys came by and said hi, and it was really lovely seeing you guys. And we just had a little bit of a chat. We hung out and got to talk and take pictures and stuff, and that was fun. Got to attend the InArt event that they held to showcase a little bit of a preview of things that was they had in the works. And then yeah, I mean, after that we roll into fall. What do we have during the fall? We had Wednesday season 2, loved it. I went to the East Coast for a couple of weeks, loved it. And then Halloween season, my time of year, of course. I love Halloween season. Thanksgiving, I went, as you guys know, I mentioned this previous weeks that I went to visit my family in Texas for Thanksgiving, and that was nice to see them. At least nice to see them, have some good food. Can't say a whole lot else. But after that, you're wrapping things up at work. The end of the first half of the school year anyway, and then that brought us into the holiday season, and where we are now, still getting some toy news, still getting a little bit here and there. It was a very expensive year for collectibles. If you're like me and you do your TVC, you do your Mattel Jurassic, you do your Batman, you do your Hot Toys, like it's it adds up. So I guess we'll wait till we get to the 2026 bit of the show for me to talk about this a little bit more. But I think 2025 has been a year where I've felt a little bit of changes internally in terms of where I see collecting going for myself, I guess, more than anything else, but also just in terms of as a hobby. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. I don't want to talk about it yet. We'll get there. Of course, there was a couple HasLabs along the way that we kept tabs on. The Republic Gunship was a big one, and that funded, as you guys know, it was kind of a little bit of a nail biter. And then, interestingly, after it closed, we unlocked Coleman Trevor. We got one figure out of that HasLab. The Tron HasLab was another big thing, and that did not pass, obviously. And I think we said our piece about it already, so we're not going to talk too much about that. But yeah, I mean, just overall for collecting, it was expensive. Things cost more than they ever have. Collectibles cost more than they ever have. It doesn't matter if it's who's making the toy. It doesn't matter who it is. They're all across the board a little more expensive than they used to be. And I know a lot of people, collectors and fans, are feeling that pinch and, are trying to streamline and downsize and such. So yeah, I mean, what kind of a year has it been for collecting? I mean, I think for TVC, it has been probably, this is my opinion, I think it's been the best year for TVC thus far. I think there were some amazing things that came for the vintage collection that were just like once in a lifetime type things. You guys know what I'm talking about? I mean, there were some things this year that just were incredible. There were some things that were not incredible for that line. And then, I keep my tabs on my Hot Toys. Uh, Lots of stuff there for six scale. Six scale has become such a big thing. Like a few years back, even like six scale was popular, but it wasn't anywhere near like what it is now. Like I feel like it's just grown so much. There's all these YouTube channels now that focus on six scale. There's all this chatter online about six scale. There's all these other companies that are competing with each other in six scale. I mean, it's just really grown a lot, and we've seen a lot of that growth, despite everything I'm telling you about price increases and stuff. Six scale, for the prices that these things go for, Hot Toys, InArt, Jazz Inc., and other companies too. Like these things are growing. Six scale has become very, and I wonder to some extent, we've seen the price increases with Hasbro, we've seen the price increases with Mattel and Playmates and all these other companies, and I kind of have to wonder, like, are some collectors kind of just letting go of those other lines that they've been collecting for a long time and moving on to six scale? I mean, I don't know how many people are doing that, but that's kind of been my observation, that it has grown, and I do wonder how many of the people coming on board. I don't think a lot of the collectors coming on board are first-time collectors, never bought anything before, because a lot of the time I hear six-scale collectors, oh yeah, I used to collect Hasbro, I used to collect Marvel Legends, this and that. But I wonder if the price increases just across the board from the global mass-producing companies have deterred a number of collectors and steered them into six-scale. Because, I mean, a TVC figure now costs $20, right? So for the cost of about 12 TVC figures, you could get a Hot Toy. And I mean, Hot Toys have gone up in price, but they have not gone up at the rate that the Vintage Collection has, or the Black Series, to a lesser degree. So I do, or Marvel Legends even. Like I said, I do wonder, like, and McFarlane, those are $35 now, you guys. So I do have to wonder, like, how much of that has just pushed people out, and now they're moving on to things that, yes, are more expensive, but are giving them more of an experience, more bang for your buck. I don't know if that's you guys' observation. Let me know. I'm curious. What else do we got here? 2025 has seen a lot of different companies trying all kinds of things that are brand new, never been done before. We've already talked a little bit about Hasbro and the Republic Gunship. I'll come back to Hasbro in just a minute because there is something I want to talk about, but I'm just looking at our thumbnail here. Ghostbusters had a major HasLab. That was funded last year, granted, but it came out this year, the Ecto 1/Ecto 1A if you bought the deluxe, and that was an absolute treat. Ghostbusters was one of my things as a little kid when I was watching cartoons, Saturday morning cartoons and after school cartoons, and the real Ghostbusters, to this day, I think that is one of the greatest toy lines of all time. And those kids like me are now adults, and we're nostalgic for all that. So it was a big year, not just for the HasLab, but also for we've seen the continuation with Mondo Toys and the real Ghostbusters 6-inch figures. That is continued. More retro collection for Ghostbusters from Hasbro, the glow in the dark figures, for example. So there's definitely a market there. I honestly think, you guys, there's an untapped market for Ghostbusters that could be done by a company like Hasbro, which we know that they have. Obviously, they have the license. Obviously, they're doing certain things, but I don't think they're going far enough. I think that when they got the license, a lot of what they did was retreads of what Mattel had done. Granted, Hasbro's Ghostbusters were better than Mattel's, but I think it was like too much too soon, and sales were not where they could have been, had they held off on some certain things. But I do think there is definitely an untapped market there for a lot of like the ghosts. Like they haven't done the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Like, is that going to be a HasLab? I think it'd be cool. I want more ghosts from Hasbro, like more stuff to interact with the HasLab. Now that we have that, the Ecto-1, we got the library ghost, we got Slimer, but there's so many others they could do, right? We have the Terror Dogs from a few years back. We have Gozer, the Gozerian. But I mean, there's other things that they could do. So I do think there's a lot of potential there. Will they explore that? I think it's going to be like just, we're going to get little bits here and there, but I don't think we're going to get like a huge line. Batman was really big this year. I've said this before. This is nothing new. I've had my issues with McFarlane and a lot of things that they've said with regards to, their consumers, with regards to like the kind of product they want to put out for their consumers. But I always say hats off to them for giving a consistent Batman line. Because since they've had the license, they've done a lot of things that have just never been done before. We talked about a few weeks ago, Batman and Robin, Batman Forever, Batman Returns. Now we have like the Joker coming out, right? That looks like Jack Nicholson. Is it Jack Nicholson? I don't know 100%, but it looks like him. So there's been a lot more for those earlier films that's been happening. Even Hot Toys, like they have the Mr. Freeze from Batman and Robin, like that's coming in the coming months, I believe. And then Jazz Inc., of course, doing their thing. So, I mean, I think that these companies are finally realizing that Batman, especially the earlier films, like the Burton films and even the Schumacher films to some extent, have untapped potential, and people are nostalgic for them. They want merchandise from them. And if you deliver the right quality product, even at a very high price, like what we see with like Jazz Inc., people will bite. I think we're seeing that. So I think we're going to see a continuation of that next year. And then there was a big, this was huge for me. We talked about it at the time, but the re-releases of Batman 89 and Batman Returns, which I had not seen those in the theater since I was a kid. I had seen both of them in the old days, but I had not seen them in 30 years. So to see them, or 30 plus years. So to see them in the theater this summer was one of the highlights in my year for sure. And I would say the same is true about Jaws, because I'd never seen Jaws in the theater, and getting to see it in IMAX and then getting to see it in 3D was another highlight, like as far as movies go for me. I missed Back to the Future. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see that. Just didn't work out, but I think it came out like Halloween weekend. I just had too much going on. And then, Jurassic World. We had a Jurassic World movie, Rebirth. I mean, I thought it was a fun movie. I thought it was entertaining. I mean, depending on who you talk to, that may not be the same opinion that people have, but I thought it was fun. I think that it allowed Mattel to kind of reinvigorate their toy line to some extent. And, again, props to Mattel. I've said this a million times. Props to Mattel for taking a practically non-existent toy line, Jurassic Park / Jurassic World, and creating an evergreen line. We're moving into year 8 of Mattel Jurassic World next year. Can you believe that? Year 8. Like, how's that even possible? How is that even possible? That's nuts. Time is just flying, you guys. It's just absolutely flying by. And I think some of what Mattel has done this year has been kind of unusual, like the glowing dinosaurs, which are fun. But I kind of get it, though. You can only keep selling customers the same dinosaurs over and over until they stop buying. So I understand the need to create the gimmicks to try and innovate, so to speak, to try and do different things that'll bring people in. Especially if you're a kid, you may have 10 T-Rexes, a few Raptors and whatnot, but you might not have a light up Ceratosaurus, right? So that's something new a kid might see on the shelf and be like, oh, I want more Jurassic for Christmas. I haven't asked for it in a few years, but now I want more Jurassic for Christmas. And I know adults, there's a lot of adults that buy that toy line too. So I get that. Um, I do think dinosaurs, on the basis of being dinosaurs, are already awesome. So I don't think the gimmicks are necessary, but I do get it. I do get, from a business perspective, I get why they would do weird, gimmicky things like that. Hammond Collection. Uh, Hammond Collection. They've done some really great things this year, you guys. Not all of it is great. I think the bigger dinosaurs usually are great. The smaller ones, not so much. And that's where they need work. There hasn't been a whole lot of humans. Has there been any humans for Hammond Collection this year, Dodgson? Do you know? Possibly. I don't think there's been any. Has there? There haven't been any. I don't think. So that is lacking. But until they figure out the cankle wrist issue, that they shouldn't put any more out. Is that Ed right there? Here, there's Ed. Got to say hi to Ed. Ed, what did I miss? You missed everything. Everything. I'm just kidding. We're just kind of reviewing 2025. But yeah. Anyway, so again, props to them for creating an evergreen toy line that is ever present on toy shelves and keeps kids interested in dinosaurs. And let's see, what else do we got? I know we mentioned Hot Toys. I mean, and the 6 scale thing just exploding, but Hot Toys has been putting out a lot of stuff. And that is challenging if you love certain things like Star Wars, like DC, like Marvel. But they've also done some things along the way that are not those things. And that's where I'm really interested going into next year. You guys, I really want to see what they will do that's not a Star Wars figure, that's not a Marvel figure, that's not a Batman, that's not an Iron Man, that's not a Terminator. I want to see, like this year, they had released it before, but this is kind of a new version, like Jack Sparrow from Pirates of the Caribbean. I mean, that was awesome. They did the Wednesday figure. That was awesome. Like that's what my interest in Hot Toys. I mean, as much as I want to continue buying like the Star Wars and some of the Batman stuff, my interest is in seeing where they're going to go next in terms of delving into other properties and exploring other franchises, because I think there's a lot of potential there. No one has done 6 scale Jurassic Park human characters. Do you guys remember Chronicle Collectibles a few years back? Like not even a few years back, like 9 years ago or something. They were working on a 6 scale line, and I saw it in person at Comic-Con, and the dinosaur, like they had a raptor. It was, I was going to buy it. It was so good. And then they had a couple humans. They had, it was Dr. Grant and who else was there? Was it Owen? I don't even remember. It's been so long. But the humans were like kind of meh. But the dinosaur looked awesome. But at this point in time, nobody is doing licensed 6 scale Jurassic figures. Can Hot Toys give us a 1/6 scale Ian Malcolm? Or a 1/6 scale Ellie Sattler? Like, or an Ellen Grant? I mean, I think that's territory that is ripe. I think Mattel has everything covered with Jurassic very well in terms of, action figures, in terms of toys, in terms of catering to a younger audience. But I don't know that the adult side of it is completely tapped into. I know there's things out there like the Barbasol can replica and the cane, the John Hammond Amber cane, and the goggles. Some of those things are ridiculously expensive though, hundreds, like $500 for the can, I think, something like that. But like actual 6 scale representations of smaller dinosaurs. I mean, obviously they wouldn't do a Brachiosaurus, but like a raptor, a Dilophosaurus, and even the human characters. I think there's a lot of potential there, and I would like to see, even if it's not Hot Toys, like In Art or somebody else, like kind of explore that area a little bit, because I think that is definitely that's fertile. What else? We need to circle back to Hasbro Star Wars, but we'll do that in just a minute. One more thing, Disneyland 70. You guys know one of my personal interests and passions is Disneyland and its history. I used to produce the Discoveryland podcast, which explored the history of Disneyland. I'd love to bring it back one of these days. It's just so research intensive, and even though it's a lot of stuff I already know, I like to have my facts 100% right before I spout them off. So a lot of very research intensive, a lot of talking to experts in certain fields of that. But yeah, this was the 70th anniversary. This was also the year that I really reconnected with Disneyland, because I used to live like 20 minutes from Disneyland, and I was there. I used to go like every 2 weeks. I was there, and then when I relocated to the San Diego area, I just I didn't I didn't renew my pass anymore. And then this last year though I did. So I did. It's the first time I've had a pass in like a decade or over a decade now. But it was really nice to reestablish, I guess, that the park has changed a lot in the last decade. You wouldn't think, but it actually kind of has. Um, and it just kind of going more often, has kind of reminded me, why I enjoy going. And a lot of the times I don't need to go to get on rides. I don't need to go to watch parades, but I just like to be there. I just like to be there in the atmosphere. So being able to do that this year, I try to go at least once a month, has really kind of reconnected me. And that's just one of the things that keeps me happy, makes me happy, gives me joy. I always feel good and I smile when I'm there. Even though I tend to go by myself when I go, but yeah, so I'll continue doing that this year, and this coming year, 2026. I mean, before I circle back to Hasbro Star Wars, I do want to make a run here in the comments, and I do want to see, because I haven't looked in a little bit, see what you guys are chatting about, see what your questions are, see what you guys want to know, and then we'll get back to reviewing 2025. There's a lot of comments here. I'll do my best. Galaxius Skywalker, how's it going? Good to see you. Thank you for returning. Char's been in Carbonite. Glad you escaped. PKB1 says, while I enjoyed Skeleton Crew, it was more of a Saturday morning rather. Special kind of vibe, not everything's super amazing. I agree. I think it did have a Saturday morning sort of feel to it. It's a good way to put it. Britt says Captain America came out in 2025. I feel like I'm not anymore, but yes, it did. It came out in February. And it's a weird year, right? It feels so long ago, but then also kind of doesn't. It's weird. Andor was good. Yes, it was. It was peak storytelling. Nicholas liked both series. So different yet so good. Sci-Fi Dude likes Andor. Dodgen says Rogue One and Andor will hands down be the best things in Disney Star Wars, in my opinion. Handles everything so well within the OG trilogy timeline. Need more Skeleton Crew figures? From who? From Hasbro? I mean, look how long it's taken to complete Rogue One, right? Or Bad Batch. I don't know, you guys. I'm not too optimistic, but I don't know. Sci-Fi Dude says TVC Pong Corral 2026. I mean, maybe. Adam says 6 scale has truly blown up. Bob says, as far as prices go, various Jurassic releases have stayed in a reasonable price range. I agree. And I've mentioned that before, that Mattel, even though there have been slight increases in certain things, like they have tempered price increases, probably better than any other mass producing global toy company. And as I understand it, they actually, I think they own or they run their own factories where the toys are made. So that's a big part of why they can keep production lower. That's my understanding. I don't know if that's something I've never confirmed, but multiple people have told me that. So, I mean, I could be true. Allison says 6 scale 10 years ago felt like a niche. Now it's a lot more visible. Yeah, 100%. 100% the case. Sci-Fi Dude says 3 3/4 inch for life. Yes. Trevor says, this year was not a great year for me. The character selections were not my alley too much. I wanted more Cantina patrons, Jabba's goons, Skeleton Crew, Rogue One, Andor, and a few new aliens. So I'm glad you're mentioning this, Trevor, because this is going to tie into a little bit of a conversation piece I'm going to bring up in just a few minutes regarding return to Tatooine. All right, so we'll talk about that in just a little bit. Allison says that definitely missed the experience of hitting a B&M, Barnes & Noble. No, not Barnes, B&M. It was B&M. Getting 10 figures for like $80. Yeah, those were the days. Trevor says, I still bought most of it, though. Sci-Fi Dude says, for $20, we should get more accessories in TVC like Black Series. Britt says, personally, I still get sticker shock from Hot Toys more than the usual stuff, so not planning to make the switch anytime soon. That's probably wise, because once you buy one, it's dangerous. Dodgen says, for Jurassic, I love Hammond Collection Spinosaurus. That is their best work this year. But when it comes to mainline and other figures, they're still slipping on quality. Yeah, that's actually very fair, because they're doing some really good things with Hammond Collection for the bigger dinosaurs, but the mainline, some of the things they do, I think, are pretty cool. Some of them resonate with me, some of them don't. It just kind of depends on what it is. Like not completing the Chaos Theory like core group in the main line, like that was really annoying. And then even like some of the humans from the recent film, like they gave us a good little bit of them, but there's still quite a few they didn't do. So that is also frustrating as well. Chad says, I want the Ghostbusters with the gorilla. Britt says, Plasma Series is dead, but do me a solid with the Janine figure has. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. Alex says, I would love a State Puff 12 scale. So, do you guys remember when Maddie Collector, Mattel's collector geared segment of Mattel, actually made a 6-inch scale Stay Puft Marshmallow Man? Do you guys remember that? This was like 2014 or 15 or was it? Was it 13? I don't remember. I bought it, and it was awesome. It felt like a marshmallow. It was big. It was incredible. But they all suffered from this weird issue where they would discolor. They would turn like a yellowy brown color. And it was frustrating because it was an amazing, for me, that was like the best Stay Puft I've ever owned. It was just an incredible, incredible item. And it came in an awesome diorama box. I love that. And I almost kind of wish I didn't sell it, but at the same time, it started discoloring. And it was like, I don't know. It just, because it started discoloring, it just didn't look right. I hated looking at it and loving it, but then also like being so turned off by how it discolored. And this was a common thing. I don't know of anybody that has that thing that did not discolor. Once they took it out of the box anyway, for whatever reason, if it's in the box, they were white, but once they took them out, they discolored. I think Hasbro can do that better. I think they can do that better. And if it had to be a HasLab, I mean, could a Stay Puft be a HasLab? I mean, is that sufficient? I mean, I guess the Sentinel, right? Like that was, or a Galactus or something like that, right? I mean, yeah, I guess so. I guess it would work. But I think if they're going to do something like that, it might need to come with a little bit more. It might need to come with a couple figures. Maybe that's where you get Janine, or maybe that's where you get like I don't know, something from more of the ghosts, right? More of the ghosts from like the first film or even the second film, or Vigo the Carpathian or something. But I think that would be awesome. That's like one of my dream things is a proper 12 scale Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, 100%. Yeah, Jurassic is definitely having a good run. Hammond Collection was a good gimmick for older collectors. Is talking about Kill Bill, whole bloody affair. I saw Wicked for Good this week. I finally got to see it. I really liked it. I think I liked the first one better, but I really enjoyed both. I really loved both. Oh, thank you, Britt. I appreciate that, Britt. Listening to Discoveryland. Thank you so much. Time makes no sense anymore. Yeah, I agree. Galaxia Skywalker says, didn't go to Disneyland, but went to Disney World. Nice. Alex says, yes, San Diego. He turned toasted. Is that what it was, Trevor? Yeah. Adam says there's a Stay Puft pre-order right now on Sideshow. Is there? I want to see. I haven't seen this one. How did I miss this? I want to see. Oh, yeah, there is. Oh, yeah, it's expensive. How big is this? Here, I'll show you guys right now. Let me pull it up. Here. This guy right here. Yeah. So what? $1,600. Eef. How big is this? "29 inches tall, 27 inches wide." I think that's the diorama. Depth is 18 inches. Dang, this is one of those things that would be like the only thing on display in your collection. It's huge. Swap out portraits. This is pretty sweet. I mean, at this size, shoot. I mean, I don't think it would be 6 scale, right? Because look at how little the cars are, right? Are those probably are like going to be a little bigger than what Hot Wheels? Maybe like the bigger Hot Wheels. So it's too big. I mean, it's too small for like a 3 1/4 inch scale, and it's too small for like 6 inch. But that is a pretty impressive looking Stay Puft. I think we should do an episode of this show next year that just looks at every single Stay Puft Marshmallow Man figure that's ever been made. What do you guys think? Should we do that? We probably get like 5 people tuning in. I don't know, maybe not, but it would be interesting. I don't know if that's ever been attempted. We would be in the record books for this. And it's pretty cool. Thanks for pointing this one out, Adam. It's pretty cool. But yeah, I don't think I could. I don't think I could do it. It's a little too expensive, and it's too big. I like it though. Props to whoever does buy it. If any of you guys buy this, definitely send me some pictures. In fact, I'll invite you on the show and we'll talk about it. But this is, yeah, that's cool. I like it. I approve. I dig it. There's a burning one too on Big Bad Toy Store. I need to check that out. Hey, John, how's it going? How you doing, John? Good to see you, as always. John and I are working on a special episode for next year. I'm not going to tell you what it's about yet, but we're working on a special episode for next year. And it may not even be about Star Wars. Sci-Fi Dude says, you should do it. Stay Puft Marshmallow Men. I might have to buy it to be on your show. Do it. Not that I'm trying to encourage you to spend $1,600 on a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, but if you did, you would have to come on the show to discuss it. All right. So let's circle back. Let's circle back to Hasbro. Let me just pull this out. One of the things that we were mentioning a little while ago was the world, like kind of like the world building of some of these companies that they're doing for their lines. And, you know, it even happens with like McFarlane, what they're doing with a lot of the Batman stuff. But let's return to Tatooine for just a moment. Let's pull this poster up. You guys know this poster very well. You've seen it a million times. But now you're going to see it once again. Return to Tatooine. All right, this was the big theme that began last year. Or was it mostly? It was probably mostly this year. This was the big thing. Now that Hasbro's identifying different themes for each year, this is the big one for this year. Return to Tatooine. What do you guys think? Do you think this was a hit or do you think it was a miss? Let me share my thoughts because it's complicated. When they first announced Return to Tatooine, I mean, you guys know it. Tatooine, the Cantina, like that's my jam. That's like my favorite aspect of all Star Wars is like Tatooine, the Cantina, Mos Eisley. If I had to sacrifice if I could only keep one thing, Star Wars, one display, it would have to be like Tatooine. And I almost feel like maybe one day that could eventually happen. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking too far ahead, but Return to Tatooine. Very exciting concept, very exciting idea. That's some kind of thing that really spoke to me as a collector. But I think it fell a little bit flat. And I'm going to tell you why. When I first heard about this theme, I envisioned that there was going to be like a lot of things. And I mean, looking at this poster, sure, there are a number of things on it, but let's look at each of these individually. And I think that'll help us to identify where the newness really was, because it, like I said, it's complicated. There's a lot to look at visually, but how much of it is actually brand new, right? Okay. We'll start with the buildings, the play set, right? The Streets of Mos Eisley back here. That was one of my favorite releases this year because, you know, again, Mos Eisley, it's my thing. And I really enjoyed how you could kind of just do what you wanted with it. I mean, I incorporated mine into some parts of my house, that Cantina. And I put some of the decals from the Cantina on some of these walls. I mean, I really loved it. The Cantina itself, I mean, that was the HasLab Bright. I mean, that was like the anchoring centerpiece of this theme was the Cantina. Cantina was incredible, right? I don't need to spend a lot of time on that. Of course, it had some new figures. It had Wooher, it had the Tonikas, it had Greedo, it had Nabran Leeds. And then the Cantina had a Jawa. Another Cantina. The Streets of Mos Eisley had a Jawa. And this Jawa wasn't really anything new. It was a Jawa we've seen before. Yeah, it was slightly different, but it was basically the same thing. All right. Vehicles. Land Speeder. Retool. Right, not 100% new, but, you know, I will tell you it's better than any land speeder they've ever done before. Okay, that's a win. The Bantha, that came out of left field. That's a win. Solid. So the four things we've looked at, the bigger pieces, the Cantina, the Streets of Mos Eisley, the land speeder, the Bantha, those are all wins. Those are great. You know, we could get into the deco and stuff on Mos Eisley and on the Cantina, but we won't. Here's where things kind of fall a little bit flat for me. When you start looking at the figures, which, you know, arguably are like the bread and butter of the line, it's a little more frustrating. I spoke about the Jawa. Jawa's not really anything too new. Hammerhead was a star this year. Hammerhead was also complicated. Hammerhead should have been on an original 96 style card. Hammerhead was not. Hammerhead came on a deluxe card. A lot of people were upset, myself included. But Hammerhead was a fantastic figure. I adore that figure. Ponda Baba. Let's lump these two together. Ponda Baba, Dr. Evazan. Figures that go back to 11, 12? I mean, they're okay today. Ponda Baba is like, it's one of those that if they were to bring it back like in 2026, I don't think it would work. This year, maybe they barely missed the cutoff, but even then, there was a lot of, and I agree that it should have been partially like redone. The head needed to be bigger, at the very least, new head. Bomb Bim Dim. This was I think a Target exclusive this year. Bomb Bim Dim, was great in 2012. Still holds up today. Still a great Cantina figure, but again, an old figure from 2011, 2012. 13 years old. All right. We'll move over here to the Sand Trooper. This came in the 3-pack that had the Snow Trooper and Commander, and also the Biker Scout. All right. This is a retool as well. And then we'll move over here where we get the Bantha came with a Tusken Raider, which again, Tusken Raider, nothing new. We've seen this figure before. And then we do have the brand new Luke Skywalker, one of the highlights of the year. Brand new Han Solo. Well, I was going to say one of the highlights of the year, but then I forgot about the Kinkle wrists. Chewbacca. Chewbacca was a retool. Should have been 100% brand new. So a little bit of a disappointment. And then if you look here in the Land Speeder, another version, a deluxe version of Luke, and then Ben Kenobi, which for me is a highlight of the year. This is the Return to Tatooine complete theme. I don't think that this theme was 100% realized. I don't think it 100% lived up to its potential. And I don't think that was so because Hasbro just did this HasLab for the freaking Mos Eisley Cantina, right? One of the most coveted things that they've never done in a definitive capacity. Even the ones they did before were lackluster at their time. But what would have made this, would have solidified this theme for me a little bit better would have been had they expanded the world building aspect with more figures. Like I said, the Cantina is awesome. The play set is awesome. The Bantha is great. The Land Speeder, retool, but it's great. The figures is where things start to fall flat. And again, the figures should arguably be like the bread and butter of this whole theme. Can you populate, let's say you've been collecting for the last 5 years. Can you populate a Cantina with the figures it comes with, and then Ponda Baba, Bomb Bim Dim, and Dr. Evazan from 2012? That doesn't populate a Cantina. I mean, it's something, but there needed to be more newness surrounding this theme in terms of the figures. The OT mains, we needed those yesterday. So we finally have them, even though some of them are not perfect. Those were pivotal. Those were crucial. We still needed a little bit more. We needed more Cantina denizens. If you're going to repack Bomb Bim Dim, why not revisit some of the older ones too that maybe could do with some minor retooling? I'm thinking figures like even like Pons Limbic, right? AKA Brainiac, right? Figures like Ellis Hellrod, figures like Hem Dazon. I mean, some of those that exist, but with a little bit of reworking could be made to fit in better with the other offerings of 2025. So if I was ranking this, the Return to Tatooine theme, like on a scale of 1 to 10, well, I'm curious what you guys would rank it, but it's not a 10. It's definitely, is it passable? I would say it's passable, maybe about a 7. But it should definitely be, it should have been better. I mean, if this is your flagship theme for the year of 2025, then I feel like they should have gone all out a little bit more. I feel like they should have gone all out a little bit more there. How's it going, Land Speeder Luke? Good to see you. What would have made it 100%? Yeah, I think the figures, like a little bit more offerings in terms of the figures. Like that's really where this theme falls flat. Because like I said, the other things, the larger components are great. But I think that this theme is underserved in terms of the variety of figures that help to bring this theme to life. And some of these are kind of like low-hanging fruit, right? Like, I think you could get Danik Jericho. You could reuse the Imperial Officer figure and just kind of retool that a little bit and get a Danik Jericho. There's other things that they could probably get to relatively easily, like maybe Garandan. Maybe you could. I know we don't have a definitive Jedi Luke, but we have some Jedi Lukes that maybe could be somehow utilized to get to a Garandan possibly. But yeah. So those are my thoughts on this theme. And it says, huge OT fan, but Tatooine was also more than A New Hope. Yeah, that's true. That is true. It was also Return of the Jedi, if you're just focusing on OT. Nicholas says the Cantina 4-pack is coming in January. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And that was teased at Comic-Con this year, back in July. I think we should have gotten that full reveal by now. And maybe we, in a perfect world, we would already have those figures in our collections. Agreed. Figures first, fair and always. Yep, definitely, John. This is a good point. Thank you for reminding me about this, Mary. At the very least, it should have given us a new C-3PO. I don't know what the holdup is on a new C-3PO. I really wish I did, because, I mean, it just seems kind of odd that it's taking this long to get that character. Because this would have been I think this would have been the year, right? This would have been the year. You're already doing all these other main characters. That's really the only one that's like obviously lacking. So I'm not sure why they didn't do that. Yeah, Luke Landspeeder was a great figure for sure. Should have been revealed as Return to Tatooine. Yeah, I agree, Nick. I definitely agree. Trevor says 7 for Return to Tatooine's grade. John says 7. Chad says 7.5. Mark Hamill, Batman Official says Batman Blue and Gray pre-order for the first time. What are we talking about? Which one is this? Sci-Fi Dude says 7. Yeah, I agree, Trevor. We should have already gotten the 4-pack, and then we should have gotten another one pipelined or coming. Or yeah, the Ubrikian speeder. I think would have been a good one. Allison says 8. Okay. That's going to take us into, let's see. There's Battle of Geonosis, but that's not yet. That's in our, when we look at 2026, we'll talk about that. I mean, other than that, I mean, there were some really strong like highlights, and when I get to my best of, I'll talk about those. But it's interesting. Some new characters in the chat today. It's interesting. Very interesting. All right. Well, I guess let's go ahead and change our focus here. We've been going for an hour. We'll talk about the best toys of 2025. And I know I asked you guys on Instagram to what your picks were for 2025, and I will read through as many of those as I can in just a little bit. But I want to know what your thoughts are as well here in the chat, of course. Best of the year. I don't care what toy line it is. I don't care what company it is. Just let me know what your favorite or best item of the year is. And I'll talk about mine. First, let me go ahead and read some from Instagram. Going to pull these up. There was a lot. Like we were talking about earlier, there was a lot this year. There was a lot this year. And that's what makes it difficult to pick just a few, because I mean there was just a lot. And I think probably this may have been the most expensive year for me since I've been collecting, which has been a really long time at this point. All right, let's go ahead and add this in. Okay. All right. So let's see. Best toys of 2025. So this is coming in from Instagram. Strict Toy Monolith says the HasLab Cantina. I agree with this person. Seven Redbeard says the Cantina. Brad says TVC Jedi Spirits. Good pick. Brittany says Jazzwares Avatar The Last Airbender 6.5 inch. Is it long? Am I saying that right? Thank you, Britt. TX Hallie says figures from the Cantina. Just figures from the Cantina. Adam says, not our moderator, Adam, different Adam says, Lego, UCS, Django Star Spray, and TNG Enterprise or the Next Generation Enterprise are up there. Different Adam. Where are all these Adams coming from? Hammond Collection Spinosaurus. I like that pick. Bustleton Boba says TVC Streets of Mos Eisley. Galaxia Skywalker, who's also here in the chat with us, says Cantina figures were top notch as a set, but Imperial Armor Commando was best individual. Thank you for sharing that. Our soda fountain bartender here says Hammond Collection Spinosaurus. SD Medic says the Cantina HasLab Tonica Sisters. Dave's Domain says not 2025 exactly, but Episode 1 Maul and Episode 4 Princess Leia Black Series figures. I think that Leia was this year. And I think the Maul was too, but the one with the speeder was last year. JAR369 says Marvel Legends Gamerverse Juggernaut. And then Adam, this one is the moderator, says what could possibly compete with the Cantina? I love it. I love it. Are they Adams or are they great? I love it. I love it. They are indeed Adams. I can confirm without a shadow of doubt that these are in fact Adams and not Greg's. Thank you for asking for clarity, Britt. Let's see. Bob says, my favorite this year is Baron Karza from the Micronauts from the Super 7 Reaction line. As a kid, I didn't have Star Wars, but the Micronauts I did have, so that property will always be a favorite of mine. Sci-Fi Dude says, my favorite TVC figure, my best figure is TVC Balin Skull. Trevor says the Cantina. Pico B1 says, Star Wars, I think either the Cantina or the Spirits 3-pack with the alternate heads Anakin. Nice. Allison says the best item was the Cantina. Been waiting on that for so long. Flippin' Kicks, how's it going? Says the Home Depot R2D2. I missed that. I really wanted that. I really, 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 really wanted that, and I missed it because it sold out really quickly. And they never restocked online. But I would have, I talk about downsizing and focusing the collection, but then I'm like, give me a life-size R2D2. Make it make sense. It doesn't. But then again, we're collectors, right? Does any of it make sense? I don't know. Nicholas says, my favorite figure TV 2025 isn't technically the best, but it's the Sith Eyes Anakin Vader from the 3-pack. Very nice. That's a good choice. Flippin' Kick says they had about a dozen restocks. Okay, I didn't know that. And they each sold out like in 5 to 10 minutes. So yeah, I mean, maybe if you're just there on your computer watching and refreshing, that could work. That's good to know, though. I think I did sign up for the notification when it went back in stock. I never got an email, so I assumed that it never did. All right. Well, let me share my top picks of the year. So here's what I did, you guys. I made a list of my top 10 figures, toys, collectibles of the year. And then I also made a list of my top 5 TVC figures, because obviously TVC is a very big focus. And then I made a list of the bottom 3 TVC figures. So I'm gonna talk about all of those. And they may not be what you think they're going to be. Just saying. Let's start off with the top 10 toys of 2025. All right. I don't think I'm going to be going in any part. Am I going in any particular? Yes, I am. I'm definitely going in a particular order here. All right. All right. Let's start off with my number 10 pick. You may have seen this. You may have already seen this on Instagram because I just posted it this week. And no, it is not Cankle Wrists Han Solo, you guys. All right. It is not Cankle Wrists Han Solo. But this is my number 10 pick. So this one just is a more recent acquisition, but this is my Bandai Tamashii Nations SH Figure Arts General Grievous. This was probably the most fun I've had posting a figure in a really long time. I have the Black Series Grievous. The joint, it's a very flimsy, gummy, sort of rubbery figure. This is a lot better. It's not perfect, but it is still a lot better than the Black Series one. This figure just has presence, right? It just, you put it on the shelf and it has presence. He is highly posable. It does take some time to get in poses like this, like on the one leg, but it is a blast, and the payoff is really well worth the patience getting into these poses. He's got the soft goods cape, which has a wire in it so you can pose it. It's kind of a double-edged sword. I like that you can pose the cape, but also sometimes the wire kind of prevents it from just hanging neutrally, which is kind of what I wanted in some cases. But I mean, like I said, it just has like presence on the shelf, and you can the arms come off. So if you want to have him with the 2 arms or the 4 arms, you disconnect the arms and you add on the extra arms. But they did a really nice job. Like you could really get him like to most of the poses you see in Revenge of the Sith. He's a really great figure. I mean, the sculpting on him, the paint, the coloring, the deco. I mean, it says SH Figure Arts. Over the years, the gap between Figure Arts and Black Series has narrowed. It used to be that Figure Arts was like the top of the line, like for 6-inch Star Wars figures, but that has that gap is closed because Black Series has improved so much in recent years, starting with the photo reel back in 2017, and then the pinless joints, the plastics have gotten better, and they still don't cost as much as the Figure Arts, but this is an example of something that is just blows anything that I'm sure Hasbro would probably do with Grievous out of the water. I mean, it's just a fantastic figure. The plastic is very durable. It's very sturdy. It's not bendy. The joints are like, the hips are a little bit loose. That's probably my biggest complaint, is that the hips are a little bit loose. But as long as you're patient, as long as you take the time, you can get into some pretty cool, fun poses. I had a lot of fun with this. I really did. I probably sat there for like an hour just getting him into all sorts of poses, taking pictures, and now he's on the shelf over here. And yeah, so that is my number 10 pick. I'm very happy with that. That's been one of my like highlight purchases of the year, and that's a very recent one because that one just came in. All right, so let's talk about my my next one. All right, now I have seen this one mentioned, or I saw this one mentioned earlier at some point, one of the comments, but let me go ahead and pull it up. So we're going away from Star Wars for this one. This is a figure that came out earlier this year. I want to say it was like late summer when it finally came out. And we're going to be moving into DC. All right, we're moving, not VC, to DC. All right, and that is the InArt 1/12 scale, The Dark Knight Rises Batman. As you may know, InArt, which is well known at this point for their incredible 6 scale figures. I think by most measures, they exceed what Hot Toys does by this point. But now they're getting into 12 scale. They're doing 6-inch DC figures. This is my number 9 pick because it is an astonishingly good 6-inch figure. This was their first 12 scale figure, and it is the best version of this character in this outfit, in this scale, like period. It is a really, really, really solid figure. Not only does he have the presence, the proportions are excellent, the likeness is terrific. He's got an interchangeable head, so you can have the masked or the unmasked head. The costuming just looks great. He's got a cape. Cape is awesome. He's got some accessories, several interchangeable hands. He's very posable as well. I haven't done a little gallery of this one yet, but I have been kind of playing with it in recent days as I've been building up this top 10 list, and I really enjoy this figure. I think I'm really excited for what InArt's going to keep doing with a 6-inch. We know that the Dark Knight Rises Catwoman recently went up for pre-order. The Arkham Origins Batman recently went up for pre-order. And based on what I saw at their event at Comic-Con, they got some cool stuff coming in this scale. They got some really cool stuff coming up in this scale. John, I think this one was about around 70, I want to say. And that's one thing of note is that this is not available in the US because InArt cannot sell DC in the US because of McFarlane. They have the license for the smaller scale, and Hot Toys has a license for 6 scale in the US. But this is basically like a Hot Toys or an InArt, like a big figure shrunk down to 6-inch. So I mean, I thought it was worth it. I definitely thought it was worth it. I would have paid probably up to 100 for this figure. It's a really solid figure. Do they make a Ben Affleck Batman? Not yet, Sci-Fi do, but that is one that I did see the prototype for. So I'd venture to say that it's coming at some point. All right, so that is my number 9. Number 9, right? Yeah, number 9. All right, so let's go down the list. Just write some check marks as I go down the list. All right, we're gonna move to 6 scale now, because this is one that I recently acquired, and I've had only a little bit of time to spend with it. But you guys, this is one of the. So this is the thing. Sometimes when it comes to Hot Toys, you see the blogger pics, and the blogger pics are like kind of not. They're okay. They're not great. Or sorry, the promotional images when something goes up for pre-order. Then you see the blogger pics, and then it becomes more exciting. It's like, okay, now I'm interested. This is my number 8 pick for this year. This is the Hot Toys Wednesday figure. In person, this figure is really, really cool. I think the likeness is definitely better in person than on these pictures. Like 100%, it's better in person. That's often the case with Hot Toys. Is sometimes you see them in pictures and they're like, okay, it's close, but when you get it in person, it's like, no, this is the case for this figure. She is fantastic. I think what really makes this figure for me, though, is 2 things: the tailoring of the outfit and all the accessories you get, because this one actually came loaded. She's got the book, she's got the backpack, She's got interchangeable hands. She's got a chair. She comes with thing. She has the cello. I mean, the umbrella. Like, Hot Toys seldom come with this amount of accessories. And she is like loaded up with accessories. She's a little bit of a smaller figure, but I'll be posting some pictures of her pretty soon here. But I was very, very happy with this one. I was very, very, very happy with this figure. I don't think she's a 10 out of 10, but she's pretty close. She is pretty close. So yeah, I'll be posting some pictures of my figure probably in the coming week or so, a week or two. And yeah, I love this figure. I think she turned out really spectacularly well. All right. I guess that'll take us to, man, and there's some Hot Toys that I really wanted to put on this list that are just not going to make the cut. I'll give an honorable mention right now. I'm running through the list. Honorable mention to Jack Sparrow. That figure is phenomenal from this year. Shout out to Indiana Jones. I mean, those are two figures that they would have been like 11 and 12 if this list could have been longer. But I just had to give them an honorary mention because solid. All right, let's go to, what are we at, number 7? Let's go to number 7. We are going to stick with Hot Toys for a minute. Here, let's go ahead and pull this one up. Okay. So if you were watching Cantina Social Hour earlier this year, primarily in April, May, June, then you know that there was a big topic of discussion in the Star Wars 6 scale collecting community. Because this was a very problematic situation. They have since sort of rectified this issue, but it should never have been an issue to begin with. My pick for number, let's see, we did 3, so number 6 is going to be the Hot Toys Artisan Darth Vader Sith Apprentice figure. This has been very challenging. To answer your question, Mary, I have not tried to put her in the chair with the cello yet. I have not tried that, but maybe I should. This figure was very frustrating. I think this is probably my biggest source of frustration as a collector this year, because it was an exclusive at Star Wars Celebration Japan, which, I'm all for exclusives at conventions. However, certain characters should just not be exclusives, and certain versions of characters should not be exclusives. And like I said, they've kind of rectified this because they did put up a pre-order this figure with slightly different eyes, slightly less accessories, but so people in the U.S. will have a chance, or if you were outside of Japan and China and Korea, where it was available through even after the convention, you've had an opportunity to pick it up again. It was very frustrating. I ended up biting the bullet, picking one up. It wasn't as much as what a lot of people were paying for them. I actually got a pretty good deal on it at the time. But this is one of my absolute favorite releases here, despite how frustrating he was, despite all the problems with tracking him down, despite all the frustrations. I mean, it's freaking Anakin Skywalker. And this is, I would say, his definitive version, his Revenge of the Sith look. And the execution on it is just chef's kiss. I mean, I have him on the shelf in the D-top, just in a fairly neutral pose. But that's all you need, because he just like emanates like that dark side energy, that shelf presence that you expect from something of this caliber of a product. So I was immensely, immensely satisfied with this, even though I, had to get him on eBay. I don't regret it. I do not regret it, even though, that was that. And even though he is available now through alternate means, um, this is going to be one of my top picks this year. Just a freaking cool figure. And again, they did rectify the situation because you can even get a non-artisan version that's still on pre-order on Sideshow's site that has the sculpted hair. Arguably that's a better version because it does come with, it's both the dark side and the light side version. So potentially that's just a better way to do it. All right, so I'm going to move on to my number 5 pick. Okay, so this one right here, this is a vehicle. This is a Star Wars vehicle. Let me go ahead and pull this one up. So if you're familiar with the situation, there was a variant of this released last year. And there was a variant of this released this year. And I am absolutely passionate about this particular item because I'm very passionate about the source material. And as we were discussing earlier, I love my Disney parks. I love my Disneyland history and lore and all that. My pick for number 5 is the Disney Parks Star Speeder 1000. Now I am pulling it up here on the European Disney Store site because it is they removed the listing from the US site. But this is just one of the most fun things in the entire collection. What I find very challenging for companies to accomplish is this: creating something that is authentic to the source material, that is also collector quality, but also an absolute blast. So it's kind of like I guess the best thing I can compare that to is like a TVC vehicle, right? Like think about the sail barge, right? There's no launching missiles, there's no lights, but it still has a lot of playability, right? So marrying that concept of a really high detailed collector quality product, but also giving it the playability of a lesser sort of toy that costs a lot less. Disney Parks absolutely knocked it out of the park, no pun intended, with the Star Speeder 1000. And it's even better than the Star Speeder 3000 that came out last year, even though that one's based on the original 80s Star Tours. This one is just better. If you know the Star Tours 2.0, the Adventures Continue, you know that it's randomized. There's different destinations you could go to, different characters that could pop up. And what they did with this one is they integrated that very, very well. It's basically the attraction from the parks in a miniature form. When you press the buttons in there, you get an LCD screen, and it goes through the entire, and it's randomized just like the actual ride. It goes through the entire thing. So it starts off with either Kylo Ren, or it starts off with the probe droid, and then it goes to your first destination. Then it encounters a main character like Princess Leia or Grogu and Mando or Yoda. Then it goes to a second destination, and then it goes to the ending, and it is randomized exactly as it is on the ride. And I think that them being able to integrate that into the actual toy is the perfect, like I'm saying, perfect marriage of authenticity of a collector level detailed product with the playability of something that a lot of the time those types of products don't have. I think that's a really hard balance for companies to strike. And I think they really did it justice here with this Star Speeder 1000, because it is a freaking cool vehicle. I mean, I'm overjoyed to have it. You get R2 and 3PO. Are they the best ever R2 and 3PO? No. But it is a better 3PO than any Hasbro has done, if I'm honest. Yeah, it kind of is. And then you get all those seats to put your figures in. If you want to put all your Cantina aliens in here, you could do that. There's seat belts to hold them in place. There's lights. There's sounds. There's cannons that flip up. There's retractable landing gear. I mean, it's just, it really is a dream item, you guys. It really is a dream item type piece. And I'm very, very happy that I was able to get one. And you know, I have it on the shelf next to the Star Speeder 3000. So, but the 1000 is a better item overall. Even though it doesn't have the display base, it is a better item. All right. Let's move on to the next one. So that's number 5. That means that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more. All right. We're going to talk dinosaurs now, you guys. We're going to finally talk dinosaurs. When we talked about them earlier, but in terms of my list, this is the one dinosaur on my list. And I heard a couple of you mentioning it as I was reading through your top picks of the year. This is my favorite Mattel Jurassic World dinosaur toy of the year. You're gonna sell it, Adam? This is my top pick right here. Let me show you. My number 5 pick is the Hammond Collection Spinosaurus. Without a doubt, this is the absolute best dinosaur that Mattel has made this year. And there have been some other solid ones. There have been some really, really good ones this year. But just overall, no question, this is the best Spinosaurus that has ever been done in the scale. This is the best Hammond Collection dinosaur that's ever been done, in my opinion. And it is the best Mattel Jurassic toy, period, of 2025. So he is on my list. And it is a he. This is one of those few dinosaurs that is actually a he from the Jurassic films. Yeah, I mean, the quality is there. I wish every single Hammond Collection product was of this level of quality. The paint applications are fantastic. They painted all the claws. He's got all the articulation, posable tail. He's got the joints. You can move the hands, move the feet. I mean, it's basically like a perfect representation of the Spinosaurus. And if you've been collecting Jurassic, you know, as long as I have, I mean, you know that when Hasbro did these back in 2001, that their Spinosaurus was nothing close to this, right? Their animatronic Spinosaurus was nothing close to this. And then, yeah, even Mattel's attempted it in their main line. They even did a Super Colossal earlier in the year. But none of them have come close to the authenticity, the realism, the likeness, and just the sheer fun and shell presence that this Spinosaurus has. So this is one of my favorites for sure of the entire year. Yeah, fantastic. All right, we have 4 more. We're going to turn our attention back to 6 scale, but not Hot Toys for this one. Not Hot Toys for this one. We are turning our attention to In Art Collectibles, 6 scale, because I added this piece to my collection that just made me over the moon. And that was the In Art Michael Jackson Dangerous Tour edition figure. I mean, you guys, InArt is doing some really cool things. And when we're talking about collectibles revolving around Michael Jackson, who's my favorite, like, entertainer, performer, musician, dancer of all time, InArt did something really special here. There aren't that many like figures for him, and to see InArt take something that maybe wasn't even one of his more like well-known popular looks, but execute it at a level that, I mean, in my view, is probably unachievable by a company like Hot Toys, because they just wouldn't dedicate the resources that InArt put into this. I was blown away with the end result here. This is easily one of my most prized collectibles in the entire collection. Definitely one of my favorite 6 scale figures in the collection. He's on his own little Detolf like space because, I mean, obviously he deserves it. But it's even got like the lights, like the stadium lights. You know, it's got the display base, magnetic display base. His magnets just like adhere onto the base. The likeness is like totally dialed in. The hair is really nice and realistic. The eyes were done really well. He's got the posable eyes, so you can make his eyes move around. It just, the execution of it was, you know, I've been doing this for so long that it's hard for me to like be blown away by a figure. Like, it really is at this point. This one blew me away, you guys. Now they're working on the Smooth Criminal version, and of course I pre-ordered that one too. Any version that InArt wants to give me of Michael Jackson, any outfit, I am game. I am definitely game. Bring it on, InArt. But yeah, I love this figure. He's just so realistic, so cool. You can put him in a dancing pose. Of course, I didn't do that. I just have him in a pretty neutral pose on the shelf. But I was tremendously pleased with the end result here. See, I just have him in this basic pose in my Detolf, but yeah, he's great. He is great, and he did sell out fairly quickly, so he's gone. Well worth the price. Well worth the price. All right, we got 3 more. We've got 3 more. I'm gonna close some of these tabs. How's it going, Steven? Good to see you. Any guesses on what the last 3 are going to be? All right, let me go ahead and pull this up. All right, so this one I had to pick up on Amazon. And he was, I don't want to, do I have him right here? Actually, I do have him right here. I can just show you the figure, but I'll show you some pictures first. All right, so this is one that I did pick up on Amazon because it was kind of like a variant, like sort of exclusive. This is a 6-inch figure. We're back to DC. We're back to Batman. This is the Medicom Mafex Night Crusader Batman black version, meaning that this is the variant in the black and gray suit, whereas the original release had the blue and gray suit. I'm pretty sure I told you guys about this figure already. He was a new acquisition, one of these maybe a month ago or so, but this is hands down my favorite Batman figure in the collection. And he's not based on a film. He's not based on a video game. He's not based on a TV show. He's not based on any animated thing in particular. He's just a really good Batman figure. And as much as I love, you know, the Michael Keaton Batman, the Christian Bale Batman, you know, the animated series, as much as I love those, sometimes you just want a good Batman figure, right? That can be from anything, right? That's just a good Batman figure, and this delivers on every single front. He's got the posable cape. He's got two interchangeable heads. He's got some pretty insane posability, interchangeable hands. He is kind of lacking in the accessories department. I don't even know they have a photo of it here, but he only has one. He's got like one accessory. It's like a batarang with a string on it. That's it. For weapons, he does have interchangeable hands in the two head portraits, but for like weapons, he only has like the one like the batarang on the string. So I mean this is like, this blew me away. I was just completely taken. This is one of those that, like the Grievous figure that we picked earlier, was just, I had a blast just putting him in all sorts of poses and playing with him and just having a ball, having a blast with him, because he's a really solid, really solid figure. Yeah, I love this stuff. Again, this is my favorite 6-inch Batman figure in my entire collection, because he's just a good Batman, right? He's just a good Batman. Again, not based on any movie or show or anything else. He's just a great Batman, and that's what you need sometimes. It's just a great Batman figure. So he is my number. Was that 3? Yeah, 3. That leaves 2 more. I see some of these predictions in the chat. All right. Let me show you my number 2. The top 2 picks have a very similar theme in terms of how they came to life. The first one here, our number 2 pick, is going to be, I'm a little blurry. There we go. Our number 2 pick, you guys, is something that, if you were watching 2 weeks ago, you saw how taken I was by this item for a number of reasons. My number 2 pick is the HasLab Ghostbusters Ecto-1. Without question, this is my second favorite pickup of the year. It is absolutely a blast. It is absolutely a blast. I have, like I was telling you guys earlier, I have so much nostalgia for Ghostbusters. I mean, it was something I adored when I was a little kid, like really little, before Star Wars, before Jurassic came about. Like, you know, that period where Saturday morning cartoons were the biggest thing ever, and you know, you played outside because there weren't like tablets and stuff like that period, right? The late 80s, early 90s period. And having this fills a gap that my collection just had, that needed to be completed. And now it is. This Ecto-1, you guys, is what HasLabs were intended for. You may know that Mattel, their Maddie Creations brand that used to cater to more collector-oriented things, they tried to crowdfund about a decade ago to do the Ecto-1, and it did not fund. And I think it was a lot less expensive than this. It was probably closer to $200. But Hasbro was a success. That's why I'm saying they need to come out with the Marshmallow Man HasLab. But this right here is everything you could possibly want in an Ecto-1 for 6-inch figures. It is just so fun. It is so fun. The lights, the sounds, the interior of the vehicle. Now, I will say, because I know I mentioned it before, that I was a little, I found the decals to be a little frustrating. But that aside, I just had so much fun, like setting this up and putting it on the shelf. And the lights and sounds are really what make this. I do think that the Ecto 1A, if you could buy the deluxe version, which I did. You could set it up as the Ecto 1A. I think that I put the lights on mine. I didn't do all the decals, but I put the lights on it to do Ecto 1A. And I was blown away. Like it's even more impressive as the Ecto 1A. But at least for now, I wanted to go classic. So I just did it as the regular Ecto 1. And I'm theming the shelf to the first Ghostbusters film. Maybe in a few years, when I'm tired of that, I'll retheme it. Or not tired of it, but maybe in a few years, I'll retheme it to the Ecto 1A, put the other decals on it, put the Ghostbusters 2 figures on the shelf instead. But I mean, having that deluxe option is just awesome. It is a really, really great piece. I mean, the lights, the sounds, it just comes to life, you guys. It's not perfect. Again, there's a couple of quibbles I had with it, but for the most part, even the radio lights up. I mean, the librarian ghost, the hood opens, you can see the engine inside. Library ghost, Slimer, the 4 Ghostbusters, since I bought the deluxe for Ghostbusters 2. Louis Tully. I mean, it's just such a fun thing. And when I look around the room at my collection and I'm looking for centerpieces, there's a few that I could look at and say, hey, this is a centerpiece, because it's obvious. That's where your eye's drawn. It's a big thing that captures your attention. The Ecto 1 is got to be like one of the top 5 centerpieces in the entire collection. Like no doubt. It's just that cool. So yeah, that is my number 2 pick. And I know some of these are on the expensive end, right? A lot of the things that I'm picking are on the expensive end, but I'm just at that point in my collecting career where, you know, sometimes the smaller things aren't cutting it, right? So you got to move on. All right, that's going to bring us to the number 1 pick. And yeah, John, you got to open it. You got to let me know. You got to let me know what you think. I'm really curious. Batman the Animated Series 92, how's it going? All right. Drum roll. My absolute favorite number 1 pick of the entire year. The best item of the entire year for me, because if you would have asked me at any point within the last 30 years, at any point during that time frame, actually, let me be technically correct, 29 years, because I started collecting Star Wars in 96, not 95. If you would have asked me at any point over the last 29 years what my dream item would have been, I would tell you that it's this beautiful item that sits behind me right here. This beautiful, nearly perfect item that I am absolutely blessed and privileged and pleased and excited to have, and just puts a smile on my face every time I look over at it. And that is the HasLab Mos Eisley Cantina. There is nothing that I like more than the Cantina. And this was my dream item from any franchise, any toy line, any scale, whatever. This is the one thing that I always wanted to have, and now I have it. And I can't even begin to articulate like how much of a sense of completeness and closure and elatedness that this provides me, because the Cantina has always been my thing, and now that I have it, like they're not going to top it. There's nothing that Hasbro is ever going to do that's going to make me happier than what they've already given me. And for that, I am eternally grateful, but so too grateful to the community for stepping it up and funding this fantastic piece. If I had to give away everything in the collection, I mean, thankfully I don't have to, but I'm just trying to illustrate how important this is to me. If I had to give away every single thing in my collection and keep one thing, I would keep the Cantina with all the figures in it. Like that's this shelf behind me with the Streets of Mos Eisley and all, like that would be what I would keep because it's that important to me. It is that important to me. And it's just so special. Not only because it's the Cantina that I always dreamt of and wanted. And again, it's not 100% perfect. It is not. It simply isn't. It could have used a little more deco. There's a few little greeblies and things that are missing from what you see in the film. But, and the bar is imperfect as well. It's a little tricky to work with. But I mean, you get these figures, you guys, and this just elevates it even more. Woo her, right? We didn't get our Leo, unfortunately. Nabrin Leeds. The Tonica sisters, you guys. Time for Tonica and all that. It finally happened. We got Greedo is in here, right? I mean, it's just it's like a once in a lifetime for me. It's like a once in a lifetime like type like accomplishment for my collection is having gotten this, and they're never going to top this. No company is ever going to top this item for me. I don't care how great it is. I don't care who makes it. It could be the fanciest in art figure. Nobody's ever going to do better by me than having this Cantina in my collection. This is it. This is it right here. This is my number one item of 2025. And this is very relatable here, Chad, because I too have not even bothered doing all the cups. There's too many cups. And I don't want to put them all in there because I know they're going to fall. So, but I do want to put a few more in there at least. You got to use the tweezers. You got to put them in there with the tweezers and put them on the shelf. So, because otherwise, if I use my hand, I start knocking things down. Yeah. This is, I'm glad you agree. Chad says, I feel the same. Victoria is the star piece in the collection. It is. Battery Buff says, this is the only HasLab I've gotten. You chose well. Yeah, so for me, it's the whole Cantina, you guys. It's not just the Tonicas, not just the figures. It's like the whole package. Like, that's what makes this like my top pick of the year. And as you saw, it's been a great year for Star Wars and for all these collectibles that we've been talking about. We've almost been going 2 hours, but I'm going to keep going just a little bit because I promised you my top 5 TVC figures of the year as well. I'm not going to disappoint. As I do that, let me know in the comments here what your top TVC, like your number one TVC figure of the year. Let me know what that is. I'm going to give you my 5 top, like best. I'm going to give you one favorite, which to me is not necessarily the same as best, because best means like it's the best, but favorite could be like just a personal favorite. And then I'll give you my bottom 3, which are the 3 that are like the least best. Anyway, very nice, Chad. Glad you used the tweezers. All right, let's start off. Should we do the bottom 3 first? Let's do the bottom 3 first. Let's do the bottom 3 first, you guys. All right. So my I'm going to pull this up from let's go to Amazon. Let's use Amazon picture. All right. All right, so my bottom 3 TVC figures. My third least favorite TVC figure, or the third least best of 2025, is this guy right here. This one frustrates me like no other. You may have seen my post from earlier today on Instagram. I had been kind of sidestepping this topic for a little bit, but it had to be mentioned at some point. Let me just jump over to my post. All right. On paper, a 2025 The Vintage Collection Star Wars Han Solo figure should be a 10 out of 10, right? It should be something that is not too complicated of a design. He doesn't have the fanciest, like, most elaborate costume. It should be a pretty low bar for them to hit at this point in time, right? They've been doing it long enough. They've been doing quality stuff long enough in recent years. This should have been an easy 10 out of 10 figure. Unfortunately, it's the wrists that really ruin it. I talked to you guys about in the past cankle wrists, right? For years, I've joked about how the Hammond collection figures have cankle wrists, right? I never thought that I would see cankle wrists in the vintage collection, much less on an original 96 A New Hope main character. Here we are. This is my third least favorite TBC figure of the year. It should be one of my top 5 favorites. It really should be. Because other than the wrist, I think it's a pretty damn good figure. I think it's a pretty damn good figure. But those wrists, those wrists, you guys. I cannot, once you see the wrists, you just can't unsee the wrists. It doesn't matter how you pose them. The wrists are there. They're obvious. And, you know, I mentioned this in the post. I get why the design is kind of like this. I mean, the engineering of the sleeve. In the film, he does have kind of short, like, sleeves. So, I mean, I get that. I also get that the tolerances for articulation on a 3/4 inch scale are going to be a little bit lower than what you would see on a 6-inch figure. At the same time, they've done some really great things with articulation in this scale, right? I mean, look at the Clone Wars Anakin from earlier this year, right? Which was based on a 2012 figure, which had, I think, the same forearms, right? And the same wrists. It did not have cankle wrists. The Black Series figure does not have this issue. Really what I think they needed to do is just make a little concession, give him the full length sleeves. I don't think anybody would have minded that. And then properly done the wrists, because cankle wrists ain't it, you guys. I'm really disappointed that Hasbro put this figure out this way. I'm really disappointed that they did that. Again, this should have been a top 5 pick, but I don't know what happened. I really don't know what happened, but the wrist just ruined the figure. I hope that somehow, some way, they find some manner in which to get this figure back out there in the same outfit, but with this issue resolved. Nick says, did you see the original sculpt? Yeah, because it was based on the Black Series figure. They downsized the Black Series figure. And like I said, the Black Series figure doesn't have this issue. So, very frustrating. Very frustrating. Bob says, if Han Solo were definitive, will we buy him again in 2027 with a fixed wrist? Yes. I bought a case of this. I pre-ordered a case of this Han Solo from Entertainment Earth because I wasn't expecting the cankle wrist issue. I thought he was going to be definitive. And I don't need a case of them. So I've already been donating some of my like extra like carded package toys, various Christmas like donations. I'm probably going to crack open that case and just grab some of these and just take them to Toys for Tots one of these days, because I mean, what a letdown. What a letdown, you guys. What a letdown. All right. Let's move on to number 2. This is another very frustrating one. Because in this year of 2025, this should not be the end result. All right, let me show you. The battle droids. I have given these battle droids numerous chances to prove themselves, but they suck. I mean, that's the kindest way I can put it. They're horrible. For this release, Hasbro explained that they went back to the drawing board and they re-engineered the legs. And I'm like, okay. So I bought a set of these. Actually, I bought 3 sets of them, and I returned 2 of them because the first set was horrible. They re-engineered the legs. I gave them a choice. I gave them a chance. Within a couple of days, they had all fallen off the shelf. Committed shelficide. They threw themselves off the shelf. They were tired of not being able to hold their guns in 2 hands, that they just threw themselves off the shelf. I appreciated that they re-engineered the legs, but it really did not matter. It did not matter. The 2-handed weapon grip, that's a big problem as well, of course. But let's say that it did have the 2-handed weapon grip. If it's still going to fall off the shelf, what does the 2-handed weapon grip matter? This is a figure that needs to go back and be 100% redone, and they're going to need to make some concessions. I mean, I'm a stickler for accuracy, but if it's not even going to stand, I mean, I'm okay with making a concession. Thicken okay, this is one instance where you could maybe thicken the ankle joint a little bit, or just give it solid plastic. Like if they weren't using this rubbery plastic with the joints that aren't very tight, it should stand. It really should stand. The Black Series versions don't have any problem standing of these guys. They don't. I have a few of them. Now, they don't stand as well as other figures do in Black Series, but they stand. I really don't think there's any excuse for these guys to be to exist in this capacity. You're scaring me here, Chad. These guys are coming back next year repainted. Oh, I hope not. I hope not. Like I said, I bought 3 of this set, and I returned 2. I almost never return stuff like this. I called Hasbro Pulse. I said, these figures, I got to return them. And they let me return them, and I did. Very frustrating. All right. So what is the worst TVC figure 2025? Or the least best? I'm trying to word it mildly. I'm also getting to the point of the night, though, where I'm not as concerned about that. But I'm going to show you anyway. All right. A couple of you already guessed it because I saw it in the comments. I saw it in the chat. The lowest figure on the list of 2025 for the vintage collection, none other than Dead Romero. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but because she's at the bottom of my list, I kind of have to explain why. You regular Cantinians know that I've expressed my frustration that this figure exists in this capacity. This is a character that needed to be in TVC. 100% needed to be in TVC. But they completely underserved the character, and they did not give her due in an appropriate figure release, because they basically uh, tooled up some new a new head, torso, but then they gave her the same legs of the male imperial officers, and you just can't really do that. I mean, you just can't really. You there's the thigh gap, which that was one of my biggest uh, issues with the figure, is that you do have that thigh gap there. Very unsightly. But because of the way they Frankenstein this figure together, like, she just doesn't look natural at all. The legs are way too long. Her I guess her lower legs or calves and shins, like, they're as white as her head. It just it's crazy. It's crazy that this got that they went through to this length to give us this figure, but ultimately they were just checking her off the list because they didn't really do her right. And like I was talking about at the top of the show, Andor was one of the highlights of 2025 for me. And for a character like this, I mean, the way she was played, I mean, she deserved better than this, you guys. I mean, this is, they did this figure dirty. They did this character dirty. It's bad. Now my friend July through November was kind enough to send me, you may recall, he sent me a kit bash that he put together of Dedra. I'll pull up the picture right here in case you missed that. And he combined parts from this figure with some other parts, and this is the end result that he got right here. And all he mostly did was use Hasbro's parts. So this shows you right here. This is the Hasbro one on the right, and this is the custom one on the left. This shows you right here that they could have gone a little bit more deeper into their tooling library and found parts that work a little bit better. Because she has the kit bash here. Again, Jason, July through November, who I don't think is with us this evening. He used the upper body, the head, of course. He used the thighs and upper legs from the Acolyte, the figure May. Okay. And then he used the feet from Hera from the Ahsoka series. So, I mean, that shows you that Hasbro could have done something a little bit better. Now, his version, obviously, it's a kit bash. It's not perfect either because he's reusing parts. You still have a bit of the thigh gap there, but on the whole, she's a little more proportionate because at least she's using like female anatomy parts, right? So on that basis, I think she already looks better. So yeah, I mean, this is the bottom of my list, and I saw a comment here about her hair being too light in color. Yeah, that's true too. There's no detail in her hair. Should be a little more detail. Yeah, Trevor. More paint on the hair. Yeah, she needed like a little bit of a dark wash on the hair. Because, yeah, it looks like my hair the way it looked like before. Man likes Mira. All right, top 5 TVC of 2025. Let's give them to you guys. All right, I have my list right here. I'm going to go and pull it up. My top pick may not be what you think it is. I'm just saying. All right, let's start at number 5. My number 5 pick, you guys, for 2025 in Star Wars, the Vintage Collection. That's not the picture I was looking for. Is going to be this guy right here. the Imperial Snowtrooper. That is my number 5, top 5 picks of this year. Number 5. Now, I like this figure for a variety of reasons. Firstly, because it is an army builder that is rooted in the original trilogy, The Empire Strikes Back. It's also an original 96, and it's also a figure that had not been updated properly since 2006, and even that version at the time was a little bit lackluster. So to finally have a definitive Snowtrooper is one of the highlights for the vintage collection this year. Is he 100% perfect? No. The issue that I have with it is that the top of the helmet is a little bit too flat, whereas it should be a little more rounded. If you compare it to the film, it should be a little more rounded. It's got a little bit of a flat top on the top of its head. Not a deal breaker. It's still a fantastic figure. It poses really well. Having a little army of them together looks great. I'm really happy with this one. I made a prediction last year that when this was first announced that this was going to be the top selling TVC figure of 2025. Do you want to know what the top selling TVC figure of 2025 was? The Imperial Snowtrooper. It's that good. It's that good. It really is that good. So I really like this figure. And I did buy an army of them. And I haven't opened most of them up. Of course, there's also the 4-pack. You can get 4 of them in the 4-pack. And you can also get the Commander in the 3-pack we discussed earlier. And coming out on its individual card as well. But mostly you need just the regular Grunt Snowtrooper, which is this guy right here. All right. Let's consult the list here. All right. My number 4 pick for the vintage collection. And this was a tough one because there are multiple versions of this character in the set. And there's also multiple versions in TVC of this character that were released this year, and they were all fantastic. I got to say, this was a solid year for the character of Anakin Skywalker. But I can only pick one of them. My number 4 pick is the Spirit of Anakin Skywalker that comes in the Jedi Spirits 3-pack. And I'll tell you why. Firstly, this figure harkens back to the original trilogy, right? Return of the Jedi, the original version, and was actually done as an action figure in the Power of the Force line back in 1985, and was updated for the Comtech line, or it might have been the flashback actually, for the Power of the Force 2 in 1999, 2000, in that time frame. But since then has not been done in the Sebastian Shaw version. All right. This set right here was one of the highlights of TVC for me this year. And in particular, the fact that this version of Anakin, not only with the Sebastian Shaw head, but also with the Hayden Christensen portrait, is really what made this like a really great release for me. I mean, the Obi-Wan is obviously great. Yoda is actually great. It is also great. I mean, Yoda needs to be updated actually, but the Anakin having both versions of the portrait, like, to me, that's not the kind of thing I expected from the vintage collection. I thought they would have just gone Hayden Christensen, to be honest. So the Spirit of Anakin Skywalker is my number 4 pick for this year, which leaves 3 more. All right. Number 3 Let's talk about number 3 for a minute. This one is, I mean, curiously, it's ranked at number 3, but I'll tell you why in just a second here. Let me go and show you what it is. My number 3 pick for TVC in 2025 is the Tonica sisters. That's both Senny and Brie. And I am putting them together because they share a lot of the same parts, though there are some differences. The fact that the Tonica sisters, I'm repeating the same thing I always say. The fact that they even exist at this point is nothing short of a small miracle. And they were right to pack them in the HasLab, I think. And the figures themselves, you guys, the likenesses on them are among the best that I've ever seen in TVC. Among the best in the entire line. The figures are very posable. They're fantastic. They're definitive. So I'm kind of giving it to both. It's not just Senny, it's also Brie. They're the two. They tie together for number 3 on my list of the top TVC figures, the best TVC figures rather, of 2025. You may have been thinking they're going to rank number 1. And maybe they could have, but it was a great year for TVC. There's a lot of things here to consider. I'm looking at a multitude of things. All right, you guys want to see number 2? I will show you number 2. My number 2 pick for TVC this year is a figure that was in high need of an update. Not as high as other figures, but definitely was in need of a definitive update. I think we're pretty close to having that now. And that is one of my favorite Cantina characters, Momonadon, aka Hammerhead. I adore this figure. I mean, it's just plain and simple. I adore this figure. He is beautiful. He is beautiful. He poses better than 90% of TVC figures. He's got several accessories, right? Some of them are throwbacks, nods to the past, like the staff that he's got here in this picture from the Saga Collection figure, right? Or even the where is it here? Do they have a picture here? The double-barreled blaster that came with the Power of the Force 2 figure. It's got a cup of blue milk. And yeah, we did talk about the incorrect deluxe card. He should have been on an OG 96 card. But maybe he will be. This was almost my number 1 pick. I'm going to tell you why he was not number 1. And it's one kind of reason that it's one of those things that just should not have been an issue, but unfortunately it is. The reason this was not number 1 is because here, we'll do the comparison here. This is the Black Series Momonadon. If you look at his outfit, it's pretty much all one color. The only difference is his scarf, which is a little bit of a lighter shade of red. When you go to the TVC version, that lighter shade of red they use on the scarf kind of continues on to his sleeves, and it continues on to his leg pant, his pant legs. If you look at the actual costume from the movie, it looks more like the Black Series figure. So unfortunately, Hammerhead is not number 1. He would have been number 1 had that one thing not affected him. Had they painted those parts correctly, he would have been number one. Like without a doubt, he would have been number one. You may be wondering, who is number one then, Victoria? Who is the best TVC figure of 2025? I'm going to tell you. Not going to keep you waiting. The best figure in the vintage collection of 2025, according to Victoria's Cantina, is Wooher the Bartender. Wooher the Bartender. And I'm going to tell you why. Wooher, perhaps more so than 95% of TVC figures, looks like, have you ever done that thing as a kid where you put your hand like this and you pretend you're grabbing like people on TV? I probably none of you do this or have done that, but it feels like I went like this and pulled him off the screen and put him in my Cantina. This figure is like the kind of thing that Hasbro just needs to be commended on, because he is so lifelike. He is so realistic, and he is an absolute blast. This is the best figure, I think, in the set. As much as I love my Tonikas, this is my top figure in the set, in the Cantina set, and in TVC itself. It's just a really, really, really good figure. Not only does he look the part, the paint deco on him, he looks nice and grimy. He's got the chest hair, photoreal chest hair, as you may know. He's very posable. He can interact well with his blaster rifle. He can interact well with the pistols. If you have the other figures, he can interact well with the bar glasses. He just looks great in the Cantina. I have him like front and center in my Cantina display. But you probably can't see him too well, but he's right there. So yes, number one, Wooher. Those are my top 5. I have a top 10. I may expand on that in a video in the coming week or so if I have time to make it. I may not, but I wanted to at least touch on the top 5 here. And if I'm not able to do that, then I'll throw up a post on Instagram if I have time to. But yeah, this is my top. This was a great year for TVC, guys. Like I was saying, this is the best year for the vintage collection so far. Even though I'm talking about how there were issues with Return to Tatooine, and there were certain things that were just kind of head scratchers. For the most part, I think this was the most solid year for TVC because there was a little bit of everything. You had the original trilogy, A New Hope characters. You had the Cantina with the Cantina aliens and denizens. You had some troopers, right, from the OT. Also from the prequels, like the 501st Trooper. You had new media from Ahsoka, Baylan Skoll, Shin Hati. Those were solid figures too. You had some deluxe stuff like the Bantha, like the Howler with Sabine Wren. You had things like the Bantha, the Land Speeder, the Streets of Mos Eisley. We had stuff like there more new content from the Acolytes, a few things from the Mandalorian. We had a few things from other more recent content, stuff from Rebels, like Alexander Callis. I mean, I wouldn't have expected him to come into TVC, but now we have him. It was a solid year. This is the best. This is easily the best year for TVC, and I just don't see how it wasn't. It's just a really solid year. Hey Jay, how's it going? Good to see brother cousins here with us. Miss having you on the show, BC. Hope to have you on again soon. The dude looks like he serves Orm beard. I mean, it was a pretty busy Cantina, right? So, I mean, they got to be there for a reason. He's got to be doing something right. If not, you can visit it at night when Akamina is there. We'll take a brief look ahead to 2026. A look forward Battle Geonosis is coming. That is the whole new theme for Hasbro Star Wars. That's like the flagship theme, if you will, for 2026. And I'm hoping that it's a little more expansive than what Return to Tatooine got. Because if we're grading Return to Tatooine at a level 7, then Battle Geonosis needs to be at least like an 8. It needs to exceed what Return to Tatooine did. And what I mean by that is there needs to be a good smattering of figures for world building. Playsets are important. Vehicles are important. And I mean, all that is really important. But the figures are really where the heart of this toy line lies. We've gotten a few reveals, right? Padme Amidala, Shaak Ti, and then who's the other one that they just revealed that like a week ago that I'm already forgetting? They really need to expand. Pago the Lesser. They really need to expand to other long needed updates that'll fit into the same, like Katie Mundi, like Mace Windu, like Obi-Wan Kenobi. A new Yoda would be nice. And they really need to deliver on the troopers, right? Give us the 4 ranks of the Phase 1 clone trooper. Do battle droids that stand and hold their blasters in 2 hands. Just build it out with the figures. Like I said, the play sets, the vehicles, the creatures, that's all important. But that's sort of ancillary to the figures, right? That's where the spotlight should be. So in 2026, I hope that this Battle Geonosis theme is really built out better than Return to Tatooine. For the Vintage Collection, in 2026, I want to complete some crews. I want to complete my Rogue One crew. I've been waiting almost 10 years to complete the Rogue One crew. Jyn Erso and Cassian Andor came out in 2016. It's almost 2026. And along the way, we got K2SO. We got Chirrut Imwe. That's it. We have Director Krennic. He's important, but he's not part of the crew, right? We need Bodhi Rook. We need Baze Malbus. And then it would also be nice to see a few others, right? Like Galen Erso, Saw Gerrera. But they really need to complete the crews. These crews, like the Bad Batch, that needs to be complete in 2026. Solo, A Star Wars Story. Kira, Dryden Voss, 2026. I think what's hampering my personal enjoyment of TVC more than anything else is how long it is taking to complete crews. Not how long it's taking to update certain characters, although that is very important, but how long it is taking to complete core crews of Star Wars entertainment that is front and center. They got to complete the crews. We cannot have 5 years between Rogue One characters or 3 years between Bad Batch characters. They need to complete the crews. And my last that's 2 things. The last thing I'm gonna hope for in 2020. Well, there's a few, but I'm focusing on, you guys know my passion, the Cantina. There needs to be more for the Cantina. We know the 4-pack is being announced in January. That's what Steve said. They're going to announce it in January, what's in there. But we also need, and I know this is kind of a personal want. Now that I have the Tonicas, I really want Ekmina. And I know that is so niche, and I know that is silly, and I know that is kind of ridiculous even. But like I said, at this point, they're not going to top the HasLab Cantina. That's my favorite thing. They're not going to top it. It doesn't matter what they do. But you can build on it. Give me more aliens. Give me more denizens, things that'll work with the Cantina. the Ubrickrian speeder, like just things that'll work around that. I really want Ekmina. Do I want to start a whole petition and all that like we did for the Tonikas? No. I don't want to do that. I'm done with that. But if anyone else wants to do it, I will. You definitely have my support. You definitely have my support there. All right. Other than that, looking ahead, I want Ghostbusters. I want to see Stay Puft. I'm going to mention just one thing per property, per franchise. Ghostbusters. I want to see a plasma series. Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. I really want to see that. DC Batman. McFarlane. We're getting the Joker. It looks like. I mean, just keep building that out. I can't even come up with any because they made all the Batmobiles, it seems like, and a lot of the figures. So I can't even put anything there. I would just say improve the figures, maybe. Make them better. Some of them, they're not the most fluid figures. So I can't really even say anything there, but with I guess I could say like Jazz Inc. or somebody like that could give us more figures. Like that'd be pretty cool. But I don't want them to do too much too soon either. So I'm kind of good on DC for now. I think let's kind of rein that in a little bit. Let's rein that. Let's get whatever Jazz Inc.'s working on right now before they put up more pre-orders. Other than that, Jurassic. I mean, I want more human figures from the Hammond collection, but I don't want Canklorists. I want it to be better, like TVC quality, which now TVC quality encompasses Canklorists. So, what else is coming in 2026? Yes, thank you, Trevor. The Mandalorian and Grogu. Yeah, we will be getting product for that too. And the film, I'm excited to see a Star Wars film in theaters after all this time. The Darth Maul series is coming. Is the Rey series still happening? I don't know. Maybe. I've been seeing her on Daisy Ridley on TV and on YouTube lately, and it kind of seems like it's still happening. And looking ahead to 2026, I kind of mentioned this at the start of the show. One thing I want to do as a collector, as a lifelong collector, who I always say this: our collections grow, but our homes don't. Right? In 2026, I want to focus my collecting habits a little bit more. I'm a lover of good and fun toys. If a toy catches my attention, it's interesting, it's fun, it speaks to me, then sometimes I want to buy it, even if it's not from a movie I've even seen, right? Because I bought stuff from movies I haven't even seen. I like fun toys. I like good quality toys. I need to get better about that. I can't just be buying. I can't do that. Mattel Jurassic, I kind of already dialed that back a lot this year. Except I do buy all the Hammond collection. Ghostbusters, there's not a whole lot there. So, I mean, there's not a whole lot. DC, I mean, I have my focuses there. I'm not too worried about that. Hot Toys is an area that I do need to focus a little bit better on. Because I've allowed myself to pick up too many Star Wars figures. And I need to downsize that collection. I talked about this, it was like a month ago when we had the 1/6 scale man on and Press X to continue. We had them both on and we talked about this. That this is one of the things that I'm going to be looking to do is to downsize like my Hot Toys collection just because it's gotten too big. Things like the helmets, right? The Black Series helmets, the lightsaber helmets. I already kind of dialed back on the lightsabers. The helmets, though, are kind of hard for me because I like the helmets. But I do need to focus a little bit more in those areas too, especially the helmets. TVC, I'm not buying in the quantities I once was just because it's kind of hard. It's harder to, and they cost $20 a pop. But I'm still buying one of everything for the most part, with some exceptions. But I'm even thinking of like downsizing my carded collection because since TVC returned in 2018, I've bought one of every single figure to keep carded. Every single one. And they're all of them are basically in the figure shield clamshells. Some of them are hanging around the walls, but most of them are not. I'm considering downsizing my carded TBC collection. I didn't think I would arrive there anytime soon, but that's kind of where I'm at just because of the space. And also because there's some that I just don't really care about. There's some that I don't really want to see on the shelves. Like, do I really want to put up like a Battlefront TVC like battle droid? Do I want to put that up on the wall? I have zero interest in looking at that. Um, Even some of the Mandalorian, like some of the weird repaints, like the season 3 Axe Woves, or like, do I really need those carded? I mean, it's nice to have a completed TVC 2.0 carded collection, but I'm at a point where I feel like I'm going to start downsizing like my carded TVC collection. So if anybody's interested in some of those, let me know. Obviously, I'm not selling like my HasLab figures, or I'm not selling like any of my On New Hope stuff, right? Or any of my OT stuff, but some of the other stuff that I just don't care about as much, some of the newer content stuff, maybe some of the video game stuff, like I can see myself very easily like letting those go because it's just, I don't know that I need them is the thing. I mean, granted, I don't think I need any of this stuff, but there's some stuff I would never let go, but some of those, like, I feel like that's an easy area I could downsize. So again, my goal in 2026 is to curate my collection a little bit better. Right now that I'm just off as of today for the holiday break, my goal is to spend a good chunk of time over the next few weeks combing through things, compiling things, figuring out what needs to go. And I really want to make my collection room, my collection space, like a more focused, curated, and slightly less chaotic space. Because looking around the room, I know you guys can't see unless I start moving my camera around. Parts of it just look a little bit like it's hard to focus on any one thing because there's just so much. And I like seeing all of those things, sure. But part of me almost wants to like, again, like curate it a little bit more so that there are more like centerpieces. There are more things that your eye is drawn to and that you can talk about without feeling like overwhelmed. And that was kind of my intent with the Hot Toys and the Detox, because I have the 4 Detox over there and I have like the helmets above them. And I've actually never shown you guys what that looks like, but it actually looks really cool. But I'd like to focus a little bit better. I'd like to focus a little bit better. And that's not easy to do. It's going to be very hard because I love everything that I have. If I didn't like it, I probably wouldn't have bought it for the most part. And of course, we all buy things we don't really need or want, but that's probably my biggest like collecting goal for 2026 is to curate, to downsize, to clean and cull through things and just kind of organize it a little bit better and make more of a collection that makes sense for the space that I have, I guess. It's not to say, I'm going to only, cause I still like use storage and stuff. So I'm probably still going to do that because I would need to, but I want to have more of like I don't want to say museum because I'm never going to get to that. And that's not exactly what I want, but I just want a cleaner, like more organized collection space that is just speaks to where I'm at this point in my life, I guess. That's what I mean. It's complicated. None of this stuff is easy, even though it should be. It's first world problems. It's kind of silly. It's over the top. It's, it is what it is. We do what we do. We would not be here talking about this stuff if we didn't feel passionate about it. We didn't love it. Thank you, Mary, for sharing that. I'll be eager to hear how you tackle this as well. Delvian C, good to see you. How's it going? Merry Christmas to you. Yeah, Battery Bob says same for him too. Yeah. We got to do it. I mean, it's just, our collections grow, our houses don't. Um yeah. And then the last thing I guess I want to mention before we get into our final segment is and yeah, I see other people doing that too. Uh thank you, Allison and Nicholas, for sharing that. Um the other thing I want to mention, just before we get into our final segment, is that yesterday was the 10th anniversary of Star Wars The Force Awakens. The 10th anniversary of Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. And you guys, I cannot believe it has been 10 years. On one hand, 2015 like feels like a long time ago, because it was a solid decade ago. But on the other hand, it almost feels like a few years ago. There's this thing about getting older where it feels like the time moves faster. I don't know if that's an illusion, or I don't know if there's some unexplored scientific aspect of the aging process in which time is actually in some way flowing at a higher rate of speed. Um, but I do know that that perception for me is definitely real. And for everyone I talk to, it's definitely real. Um, but I just want to say that happy 10th anniversary or birthday to The Force Awakens. It was 10 years ago on this day, because I didn't see it on release day. It came out on a Thursday night, I think. And then I saw it on Friday. So 10 years ago to the day, my husband and I went to see The Force Awakens in the theater. And we were talking about this earlier. And I was like, remember, we went to see it earlier in the day, and then we went to have lunch. We went and had barbecue, and like and then I remember we went to like a sound, like an audio store, where he was looking at some like stereo speakers. Like I remember that. I remember everything. I unfortunately or fortunately, I remember everything. And sometimes I wish I could forget things, and I don't. But um yeah, a lot has changed in my life in the last 10 years, but a lot has stayed very much the same. I still live in the same house. You know, was married at the time, still married to now. Um, Still have the same dog. You know, I'm eternally grateful for that. Um, I'm still on YouTube. Not as hardcore as I was at the time. I was doing 3 videos a week in 2015 on YouTube, and growth was very, very, very slow, despite that. Which is another topic I probably need to talk about in 2026, because I have a lot of thoughts and feelings about myself as a YouTuber in comparison to other YouTubers doing similar content. And I guess I kind of want to leave it at that in terms of like growth. But maybe we'll explore that. But so a lot of my life is the same, but also my career is entirely different. I'm continuing to be a lifelong learner, continuing to grow. I'm pursuing another element of my professional development to ascend to the next level of position within my career. So, I mean, I'm still, a lot of things are the same, but I'm also in a very different place. I'm not at all the same person I was in 2015. I don't know what this has to do with The Force Awakens turning 10 years old. But I guess I'm just putting in perspective of 10 years and what changes in 10 years. So, I mean, yeah, it's just a lot happens in 10 years. Me looking back on this film, I know this is a film that everybody has their opinions on, and I'm not going to even get into any of that, because there's plenty of that out there already. I'm not going to get into that, but I will say that this film jump started Star Wars. It brought it back to life. And it paved the way for 5 live action films, several different live action and animated TV series, video games, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge at the Disney parks, and an untold number of toys and collectibles that may not exist had the franchise not come back to life. It's entirely possible that we would not be collecting the vintage collection figures in 2025 had this film not come back and jump-started Star Wars. I really believe that that's a very likely possibility. So yeah. After I get off this stream, I'm going to be going to my living room and I'm going to be watching The Force Awakens in celebration of it being 10 years to the day I saw it for the first time. I will never forget the moment that Rey caught that lightsaber. Like that was awesome. That was awesome. But I'm going to leave it at that. And I will also add that despite them having created this 10-year anniversary with BB-8 logo, there hasn't been any merchandise for this film. I mean, I'm sure that's intentional, but again, we would not be where we are, I don't think, without Star Wars having coming back the way that it did in 2015. And for that, I am definitely grateful. Did I miss anything? Did I cover everything I wanted to cover? There was a lot, you guys. We've been going for almost 3 hours, and I'm all by myself. I have no guests to talk to. My voice is starting to feel that way. And I guess we need to move it along. Move it along. This is the final episode of the year. Final episode of the year. All right. You guys, let's do it. We're going to get into our final segment of the evening, which, of course, is none other than new acquisitions. New acquisitions, baby. Let's do it. My friends, chat. Let me know what you guys have added to your collections. I will call it out. We'll talk. We'll have a good time. All right. I'm going to go first. I mentioned to you my Disneyland Coca-Cola right here. Right? This actually came with this little guy. This is what I bought 2 visits ago to Disneyland. And it is the most adorable little sipper that I have right now. And it is Mickey Mouse dressed as Santa Claus with it's got the strap. He's got the little the straw. Where's the straw? Oh, yeah, there's the straw. Comes out right there out of the back of his hat, Santa hat. And then he's got some toys that are all little Easter eggs, I guess, to actual things at Disneyland. Like the toy soldier that is prominent in the Disneyland Christmas Fantasy Parade. It's got Space Mountain in here. Jungle Cruise boat. An Autopia car. And a bunch of presents. I don't know what this little blue one is. I feel like I should know what it is, but I don't actually know what that. Oh, it's a glider, like soaring over California, soaring over the world. Then a bunch of gifts. So this is really adorable. It came with that Coke I've been drinking tonight. And yeah, I just love it. I love the colors, and he's just a cutie pie. Love him. Wow. Thank you, Mary. I'm touched. Wow. Thank you very much. Merry Christmas to you, Mary, and I really appreciate you. Thank you for being ever present with us here on the show and adding the extra element of positivity and great energy that you bring. Thank you so much. Appreciate you always. What else do I got here? I have a couple of Jurassic World toys. So they recently finally released the last 2 human story packs. So this is Ruben Delgado with the Parasaurolophus. Come on, camera, focus. There we go. And it is a nice looking set. All right, so there's that one. I also received the companion, well, I guess kind of a companion piece to that. And that is this right here. This is the other story pack. This is Duncan Kincaid and Velociraptor. The other human story pack from Jurassic World Rebirth. And he comes with a weird looking Velociraptor that I don't think goes in the film. But that's how a lot of these packs are. I have another one that I'm very proud to show you guys. Very proud to show you guys. Because I was kind of griping about having missed it on Amazon. I was telling everybody, oh, it's on Amazon. You can get it on Amazon. And then I myself missed it on Amazon. And that is the Jurassic World Chaos Theory Advent Calendar, which I just take out of the box for the first time right now. And this just came in today. So I got it just in time to do new acquisitions tonight. And I'm excited about this because this one has Smoothie, the little Ankylosaurus. And it also has Brooklyn from Chaos Theory. And there's an image of, there's Smoothie right there. And there's Brooklyn. We're probably never going to get Sammy at this point, which is kind of unfortunate. So I did have to eBay this since I missed it on Amazon. But I will say, this was the least expensive of this set that has ever been on eBay, which is like the last few weeks. So I got the best deal. And it was like brand new. It was even, here, I'll show you. It was even sealed in this in the Mattel shipper box, and this was inside a bigger box. So yeah, I'm glad I was able to get it. I paid a little bit more than I would have liked to have, but I'm glad I was able to get it. All right, what else I got? I got a TVC. I got a TVC item. I finally picked this up. I'd been stalling and dragging my feet, but I finally got the special action figure set for the Mandalorian Shriek-Hawk Battalion. It finally went on sale on Amazon. It was it was one of those Prime deals. It was like $33 and change, which is like half price, I think. So I finally bit the bullet and bought it. I think it looks great. I feel like I should have bought two because I really like the packaging. Really nice picture on the back. But I don't really care for these figures because they're just kind of like, been there, done that. But yeah, so I added those to the collection. I got two more things. Actually, I got three more things. I could not bring two of them into the room, but I'll tell you about those in just a bit because they're just too big. There's no way it would have worked. This right here, though, isn't the most recent acquisition. I mean, I've had it for a little bit. I've been holding off on showing it because it is Christmas themed. So I did pick up from DisneyStore.com, and this is available at the Disney parks. The R2H15 interactive droid. Because I always talk about how I need to downsize the number of droids that I have, yet I go and buy another one. That is a good summary of me right there. But yeah, this guy has a little Santa hat. And they did this droid in 3¾ inch back in 2015. But now he's an interactive droid with some colorful Christmas parts, Santa hat, and yeah, he's cool. He's cool. Did I need this? Probably not, but I still bought it. All right, and then the last two items. All right. Again, they were too big to bring in, but let me show you what one of them is. I'll have to show you pictures because, again, just too big. So this is something we talked about fairly recently, like within the last few weeks. I didn't think I was going to get it this soon, but here it is. This came in yesterday, and that is the McFarlane Batman the Animated Series Batcave. I missed it the first time when DC Direct put it out about a decade ago, but now I didn't want to miss it the second time. A little bit pricey, but I've been not 100% all in on this line. I've been picking mostly things up that I missed the first go around that they brought back. But I wanted to get the back cave for sure. I don't have room to put it up. It's not going to be on display anytime soon. It's probably going to go straight to storage, but I did want to pick it up. All right, and then the last one is a big one. The last one is a really. This is something that I've been after for a number of years. I wouldn't quite say that it's a grail, but it is an item that is going to be a very big piece that I really want to get on display. And I've saved what arguably may be the most impressive. I don't know. These are all cool. This is the last one. This is my last new acquisition for the year. I was recently talking to you guys about my personal desire to see a HasLab Pirates of the Caribbean Black Pearl ship. Years ago, a company called Zizzle was doing the Pirates of the Caribbean toy line back for the two films, Dead Man's Chest and At World's End. And for both films, they released this Black Pearl vehicle playset. Now, there's two variants. The first variant from Dead Man's Chest has plastic sails that are kind of folded up. And then the variant for At World's End has fabric sails that can be hung on the masts. It's obviously, it is a toy. It is a playset. It's not the most accurate thing in the world, but it does give us some semblance of a sizable Black Pearl vehicle. So one of my goals this holiday season, while I have time, is going to be to unbox this and set it up. I have a couple of the Jack's Pacific Pirates figures that they did for on Stranger Tides back in 11 or 12. So I do want to get those. I may put those in here because they're a little bit more proportionate than the Zizzle figures. But this was a big purchase for me because I've always wanted this, and because I've been thinking about the Black Pearl and Pirates of the Caribbean quite a bit recently. And in fact, I just started a rewatch of the whole series. I watched the first film a couple of days ago, which is the best one, of course, my favorite one, and one of my top 5 all-time favorite films, probably. I decided to pick this up, and I'm excited to get it set up. And those are my new acquisitions, you guys, for the last show of 2025. Now I would like to go through your list and see what you guys have added to your collection. Let's see if we can stretch this show to a full 3 hours. I think we'll get there. All right, let's see here. Lots of acquisitions in the chat. Yeah, I like this line too from Force Awakens. Awesome. Trash compactor. Battery Bob says the older we get, the busier we get, and being busy seems to make time go by quicker. Yeah, I think that there is some truth to that. All right, here we are. Phantom 8222 says, just acquired Darth Revan and I'm planning on going to Disney to get DJ Rex. Ooh, yes. I have him right here. Also, I put one in the Cantina, you guys. I haven't told you that. I haven't told anybody that yet. You guys are first to know this. I created a little room like inside the Cantina. I'll post a picture soon on Instagram, but I added him to the Cantina. He just makes sense there, doesn't he? Pico B1 says, new acquisitions, finally got it. The Bantha came today, and I got a $14 Black Series Hammerhead, and that's it for me. Nice. I mean, I picked up that Hammerhead too, even though it's, I don't go I'm not that hardcore on Black Series anymore, but I did, it's Hammerhead, right? Like, yeah. Better Bob says, from Jurassic World Rebirth, I just got Duncan Kincaid and Ruben Delgado story packs and a Hammond collection. Troodon. Nice. Nothing new for Sci-Fi Dude. Britt says, I got the Ang Ung figure, highlight of my year, and the X-Men Sentinel. I had, congrats on that, Britt. I had that Sentinel, X-Men 97 Sentinel pre-ordered through Pulse. And then I canceled it a week ago or so. Just like I'm saying, downsizing. Like that was one I felt like, okay, I probably don't really need that. Alex got the X-Men 97 Sentinels from Hazard Pulse as well. Very nice, Alex. Trevor got the Escape from Order 66 4-pack and Plush Wicket, both on sale. Very nice. Delvian Seek just added the Hammond Collection item, the Stegosaurus. Great item. I agree. That was a really nice toy this year. Let's see. Natron 1973, welcome, says, finally broke down and picked up the 3 Target TVC releases, Gamorrean Guard, Skinny Bib, and Bomb Vimden. Let's see what else. Dodgson did not get anything this week, unfortunately, but he's going to try tomorrow. Good luck. Yeah, I'm very glad I got the Advent calendar too, Mary. I'm very glad I got it. Just in time for Christmas. Pico B1 got the Mando set for $33 also. Nice. Mary got the Batman 66 Alfred from Marsh Toys. Very cool. Yeah, Black Pearl has that. Yeah, that's what I want. Allison says, my only acquisition was a single release BS6 Darth Maul to go with Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi I already had. Very cool. And Ed says, just opened my Marvel Legends 97 Sentinel. Incredible, looks better than 3.25 inch Marvel figures. You guys are kind of making me not regret canceling mine, but I'm feeling a little bit of FOMO right now that all you guys are saying you got it. I'm feeling a little bit of FOMO, but again, I don't think I was ever going to put it on display, at least not anytime soon. So it's like, I'll save the $200. I'll put it towards, I don't know, something. All right, my voice, without any guests here, you guys, this ain't easy. This ain't easy. Talking for a solid 3 hours. My voice is definitely feeling it. We are just about to hit the 3-hour mark. And you guys, thank you for sharing your new acquisitions with me. I want to thank you for watching this episode. Whether you're here live, whether you've been coming in and out, whether you've been chatting or not chatting, whether you're lurking, whether you're subscribed or not, whether you're watching on the replay, whatever it is, doesn't matter to me. I consider you a Cantinian. Thank you for being here. Man, what a year. We've done a lot of shows this year. We've done a lot of shows this year. And like I said, I'm going to be on break, taking a break from the show. But just to give you, let me just count the shows and I'll just tell you real quick. So this year we've done 10, 14, 18, 19, 20, 23, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. 36. We've done about 45 shows this year, you guys. Out of 53 weeks, we've done 45 shows. So that's that's a lot of shows. That's a lot of social hours. A lot of you dealing with me. So thank you guys for putting up with me. And when we return in 2026, there's going to be a few changes to the show. It's mostly going to be the same, but it's also going to be a little bit different. And I'm not ready to specify the ways in which it'll be different, but I do have some plans. And a lot of things I'm just kind of working through in terms of my relationship with YouTube and my history and time as a YouTuber. And I'm trying to work through a lot of things with regards to that, because I love doing it, of course. I love being here. I love hanging out with you guys, but also there are some serious drawbacks and a few concerns I have about the whole thing. But rest assured, we will be back in a little over a month. So I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me all of this year, for spending time chatting, and just making this Cantina what it is. It would not be what it is without the Cantinians. Special shout out to my Cantinians that are helpers here in the Cantina. Adam, our moderator, Dodgson, Mary, Britt, Jason, Chad. You guys, you're awesome. Thank you so much for being here with me every single week, and for helping to support and just maintaining our positivity and hopefully uplifting vibe here in the show, on the show. Yeah, it's been quite a year, and I'm having a hard time saying goodnight tonight, because I know it's the last show of the year, and I know we'll be off for a little bit. So this is kind of even though my voice is exhausted, like this is my last few moments of getting to hang out with you guys, getting to the chat, and getting to see you guys. And I just want to say thank you for everything. And in 2026, we will hit 13 years of being on YouTube. 13 years of being on YouTube. It's been bittersweet in a lot of ways. But I won't be gone completely. You'll still see me on Instagram. I'll still be posting stuff. I got a lot of stuff to catch up on, actually. Posts I want to put up, stuff going on around the collection. I am still working behind the scenes on a few videos. I can't commit to exactly when those will be up, because I've just been so busy. But I do have full intentions of completing those at some point. But you guys, truly, thank you so much for another year of VC. Thank you for another year of Cantina Social Hour. And thank you for another year of welcoming into your homes, into your personal spaces, and hanging out with me as if you were right here with me. I mean, it's really been the best. You guys are friends, and I'm grateful. I'm really grateful. Merry Christmas to all of you. Happy New Year. Happy holidays. And I will see you on the interwebs. I will see you on the interwebs. And we're still here. I'll just read through a few of your comments before we disembark here. Nicholas says, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, everybody. Pico B1, thank you for the time you have given us. What a great show, community. Oh. How could I forget? We're not done yet. Don't I have that somewhere? Yes, I do.
We're not done yet.
I got to show you guys one more thing. I almost forgot. I cannot believe that I almost forgot, because this is probably the best acquisition of all. I cannot believe I almost forgot this. All right. If you follow me on Instagram, you saw this a couple of days ago. Possibly. One final acquisition that I did not mention because I forgot. A huge, immense thank you to our friend Pico B1 for sending me this lovely little care package that contained some beautiful little gifts in it to flesh out my Streets of Mos Eisley diorama. And I now have the sitting Jawas. I've got quacking monkey lizards. I love the colors on that guy. I got some little rabbit droid dudes. I got a few loth cats. I got these little guys. I've got these little birds, a couple of those. I've got these little blue dudes. I forget their names, but I love them. Like, I adore them. They're so cool. Another loth cat right there. I got a treadwell droid. I got another loth cat right there. Thank you, Chad, so much for sending me. Like, this stuff has really like brought my Streets of Mos Eisley to life in a way that Hasbro probably never would have gotten around to doing. And I'm just so thankful. Thank you, friend, for sending these to me and for helping me to world build in this really fun and lively way. I really, really appreciate that so much. They're just a blast. I love those so much. They're the best. So yes, thank you. Oh, don't tell me this, Alex. The Sentinel's in stock right now on Pulse. Don't tell me that. Oh my God. Wow. Thank you, Adam. I appreciate you being here every single show this year. Really, really do appreciate that. Tara says, missed hanging out in the cantina with you guys. Thanks, Victoria, and Merry Christmas to everyone. Hope you all have a good New Year. Thank you. Hope you do too. Don't say goodnight. Thank you, Home Dom. Good to see you in here. Thank you, Galaxy of Star Wars. Yes, we absolutely did acknowledge our friend Mary. Really appreciate that again. Thank you again, Mary. Sierra was special for more special for some reason. Thank you, Chad. Appreciate that very much. Mary says good night. Happy holidays from Allison. Merry Christmas, BC from Alex. Oh, Christmas tree ruler plastic. Real. I mean, come on. I got to have that scent when I get home from work, like coming home and smelling the fresh Christmas tree. Definitely fresh. Bunny droids. I love them. Yeah. Anyway, there's still a good number of you guys in here. I'm surprised after 3 hours. But yeah, I mean, I guess we have to end this, or do we? Do we need to end the show? Are there any other topics we can talk about? I mean, I don't know. I mean, we've been on 3 hours. I'll keep going if you guys want to keep going. I just need something to talk about. Close some of these tabs. I'm just gonna go look on Hasbro Pulse real quick, because I just want to see it for myself. Oh crap, the Sentinel is in stock. Gosh darn it. Gosh darn it. What am I gonna do? Alex. What am I gonna do? Am I going to buy it? Am I going to be a good girl and not buy it? Don't want to go to the naughty list and buy it? Don't want to not buy it? I already said I wasn't going to buy it. I don't know. 4 hours? No, don't tell me that. I can't go 4 hours. Oh, you guys are such a horrible inspiration on me. Burning Stay Puffed. We can do that. I was already saying goodbye and everything, and here I am still going. Let's check that out, though. Stay Puffed. Oh, vinyl figure. Interesting. Oh, from Star Ace. Oh man, why am I seeing things that I want but should not buy? Okay, is this the one here, Adam? Let's see, 30 centimeters tall, which is 11.81 inches, almost 12 inches. So I don't know what scale that works out to. It looks good. So Star Ace is a 6 scale company. They do some stuff that's okay. They're definitely not, like Hot Toys or In-R or anything like that, but this is a fun piece. I feel like this looks a little stylized. It looks a little bit, has a little bit of a cartoon, like a toon sort of vibe, like kind of like the real Ghostbusters, I guess. But it's fun. 12 inches is a good size because it would fit in a DTOF. Interchangeable hands, burn parts. It's fun. I like it. I like it. Yeah, I don't think only 5 left. Oh, the pressure. It says it right here. Only 5 left. Order soon. There's also another version here. Yeah, how's this? Only 4 left. Made of vinyl. Yeah, that's cool. I'm not going to buy it, but it is cool. And again, maybe we should do a whole episode on Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. That would be interesting. Roasted marshmallow scent. That would be nice. All right. Just reading the comments. Anything else? Anything else you guys want to touch on before I skedaddle? I'm trying to think if there was anything else I did mention. I don't think so. Yeah, no, I guess that's it. Just looking around if there's anything else I do want to do a video of this back here, the Cantina and the Streets of Mos Eisley. You guys, come on. I do want to do a video on that, especially now that I have all the little goodies in there from Chad. I think that would be a fun video to do. We would just do a background, like VC Social Hour background YouTube video. Yeah, I guess that's oh, this is a good one. Predictions or wants for the Cantina 4-pack. Okay, I'll bite. Predictions are Leo Schuss, Cantina Dude, who's the spacer with the yellow suit that has like the Bosk suit with the helmet. Ooh, I'm doing balloons. That's 2. I'm going to also guess Danik Jericho, because again, they could modify the Imperial officer uniform to get him. And then the last one I'm going to say is Liren Karn. Those are my guesses. Liren Karn is the Bith that we see sitting in one of the cantina. I think it's in the opening shot. We see him sitting in the cantina. Those would be my guesses. But yeah. Ed says, what beast do you want to see in TVC from the Geonosis theme? I mean, they already did most of those, right? They did the Reek, they did the Acklay, they did the Nexu back in the old days, and they didn't do the other one that pulls the carriage that Padme and Anakin are on. They did not do that. But they did the other 3. I mean, I think the Acklay is the coolest one of all, but so maybe the Acklay, if I had to pick one. The Hippo Gator. Yes, that's a good way to describe it. The Hippo Gator. All right. Yeah. I think I'm going to call it, you guys. Oh, no. There's another question here. I'm not going to call it. I'm just kidding. Did you already guess the 3 blacked out figures from Retro Collection? Did I miss it? I mean, they seem like they're like Tatooine themed, no? What is it? CZ3, Garandan, and who's the other one that they showed? The droid. The droid. Yikes. I don't know what that was. So yeah, I don't know what the blacked out figures would be. I'm guessing that it's probably going to be Tatooine themed. I'm hoping that maybe one of them is like a possibly like the I want some Cantina characters, you guys. I know they're probably not going to do the Tonikas in there, but I would like to see maybe something like Hammerhead. They haven't done a reissue of Hammerhead. He might be in there. Although I feel like they would have shown that already. Maybe. But that's not the most exciting one. Like, I think Cantina aliens that have never been done before in retro would be fun. What if they did our Leo Shoes? I mean, as long as they're doing them in TVC, I wouldn't mind. This is a good call right here. Baru and Wooher. Owen, Baru, and Wooher. That'd be cool. That would be cool. Yeah, I don't know what that was. I don't know what that was. It wasn't in here. That was like that might have been like my husband, or it might have been my dog, but I don't know what that was. Sounded spooky though. I guess I'll find out when I leave. Speaking of which, I don't know. All right, you guys. 3 hours, 18 minutes. I think I'm gonna go ahead and call it. I know there's still 31 of you in here, but I could be on here all night, and I part of me wants to keep going, but my voice is just absolutely done. And I need to tend to my dog. She's been a little bit under the weather, dealing with a double ear infection. So I'm gonna go hang out with her for a little bit, pop on The Force Awakens, and just kind of chill for the rest of the night, guys. This time I mean it. Thank you so much for everything this year. You guys are the best. I love the Cantinians. And let me know what things you think we should add to the show. If there's anything you think we could add to spruce it up, let me know. I'm very curious. But I hope that all of you have a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, Happy Holidays, whether you celebrate the holidays or not. I mean, just enjoy, spread kindness, spread positivity, be optimistic. I know things are tough. I know that there's a lot of challenging news to grapple with. But we got to keep it positive. We got to focus on the things we can change and the things that we can do to make our world a better one. We only got this one world, so let's do our parts, no matter how small they are, to just spread a little bit of kindness and positivity and be positive. Love you guys. I look forward to seeing you in 2026. And again, you'll see me online. I'll still be on Instagram. But from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for tuning into Cantina Social Hour, no matter where you are out in the galaxy. I appreciate you watching. And be well, be safe. May the Force be with you. And we will definitely be seeing you in the new year. That said, I guess that's it. All right. Peace out, you guys. Bye, everybody.
Thank you very much.
And the show continues. We are still here hanging out. Cantina Social Hour Friday night. If you're still here, good on you for waiting because we're still here too. I'm still here too. Anyway. This can go on. This can go on for a really ouch. This can go on for a really long time. No, I think I'm headed out. But I just wanted to say goodbye one more time. Good night, you guys. Peace out. It is exactly like the end of Ferris Bueller, Adam. It is exactly like that. What? You're still here? Go home. All right. All right, you guys. Be well. Be safe. Happy holidays. Bye.